Alex, bless us with your takes.
Joaquin Phoenix, and you can be damn sure it is not for Napoleon, it's for Beau is Afraid.
That is crazy. All
That
three of you? Yeah, I don't know. I think I got kind of a hot take here. I think Divine Joy Randolph is my 6th best leading supporting actress of the year.
Instead of Killers of the Flower Moon, I think Saltburn is going to sneak in there
Ooh.
very sneakily.
It's outrageous. Over Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it is. It's
Hey,
not.
100% for Oppenheimer. Yes, it's better than shooting.
How it's
Tony
not
Murphy with
better?
the shoulders up. Yes.
Let's hear this brutal
Let me
list.
educate
Like,
you.
Teenage Mutant Mayhem. Let's go.
Mario.
Best mayhem ever again. Don't ever associate my name with such a mid film ever again.
That's ill. That's
W.
actually
That's
ill.
That's
Like
Best
a right
direction of the year.
I don't give a fuck. Kick me off the podcast then. I'm not.
Far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Son of a bitch. He stole my life.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Welcome to the official Oscar predictions of the Shot by Shot podcast. Very soon, the Academy Awards will be announcing their nominees for this year's upcoming Academy Awards for the films released in the year 2023. A lot of great options. Probably going to be some very big upsets, some robberies. We don't know what they're going to be yet, but we're here to give you our opinions on what we think they will choose, along with the films that we would personally choose. And of course, we have the Shot by Shot Awards, which will be coming up closer to the actual award ceremony. But for now, we are just going to give you who we each personally think should win, and who should be nominated, along with who we think will. So, Ryan, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so we're just going to go through all the Oscar categories, saying who we think is going to win in that particular category, and then we'll say who we want to win from our own personal rankings. So we're just going to start from the acting categories. We're going to start with those like the Oscars do. For the actors, I have Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, Leonardo DiCaprio in number 4 for Killers of the Flower Moon, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Paul Giamatti for the Holdovers, and then Cillian Murphy I have winning the Oscar. So what else do you think will be the predictions for the best actor category?
That was exactly my prediction. I've got Jeffrey Wright, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bradley Cooper, Paul Giamatti, and Cillian Murphy winning the Oscar. That's what I think is going to happen. And quite frankly, that's kind of what I want to happen. So I don't have much to add here. I think this is kind of set in stone. But Oscar, who are your picks?
I have the exact same 5 picks as well, actually. I haven't seen American Fiction. Like, Bradley Cooper's performance I thought was really good, but I think those are kind of the set in stone 5 for most people at the moment. And I think Cillian Murphy's going to win, and I definitely want him to win at this moment. But yeah, still got a couple I need to see. Excited to see the Holdovers, but it's looking like Paul Giamatti has got that nomination in the bag at the moment.
I am going to change absolutely nothing. That is absolutely going to be the 5. I think anyone who thinks that's not the 5 is delusional. That's not quite my personal 5, but that is at least the 5 that I certainly think will be nominated. But Ryan, is there anything you would change on your personal list?
I would actually change a couple of those. I would keep Cillian Murphy winning the Oscar, and I think my number 2 would be Leonardo DiCaprio. He's probably quite low down in the kind of ranking of the predictions, but I think he is set to get a nomination, and Paul Giamatti I'd have in 3rd. But in my number 4, I'd actually have Jason Schwartzman from Asteroid City. I think he's had a very good year, and this is my favorite movie that he was in that year. And number 5, maybe a hot take, I have Joaquin Phoenix for Beau is Afraid. People would even maybe have him in for Napoleon, but I think that was the better performance of the last year. So yeah, a little bit of a switch up. Those two people I've added have no chance of getting Oscars. So these are very much my personal opinions.
Yeah, that's kind of tough because Joaquin Phoenix literally had a better performance than Beau is Afraid. So bad pick in my opinion, but to each their own. I'm shaking mine up a little bit as well. I got the 3 big dogs. I got Cillian Murphy, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Paul Giamatti. I think those guys are absolute locks and they deserve it. But the last two spots, I got a little bit more, I got mainstream, I guess, because I'm picking Michael Fassbender from The Killer and Zac Efron from The Iron Claw. I think those two just absolutely stepped up to the plate. Like those were kind of roles where people weren't expecting a whole lot. Maybe with Fassbender and The Killer, that's kind of like a lone role. You kind of expect him to do well there, but for them, like to just step in and deliver the performances that they did, like put the movies on their back, like I'd have to give them some recognition. So I'd slide those two in my personal Oscar picks, but I'm not mad either way, really. Oscar, how about you?
Yeah, I think. Well, I haven't seen American Fiction yet, but honestly, I'd have Adam Driver in there for Ferrari and Joaquin Phoenix for Birds Afraid as well, taking over from Bradley Cooper and Jeffrey Wright. Yeah, but I still need to see American Fiction. I'm excited to see it, but right now I think I have those two replacing them. I think they definitely won't get in there, but it's a shame because I think they were both fantastic performances. But yeah.
Yeah, I only have one change. I think Jeffrey Wright gives a very great performance in American Fiction, but I am going to swap him out for Joaquin Phoenix, and you can be damn sure it is not for Napoleon; it's for Beau is Afraid.
That is crazy.
Nice.
All three of you?
That is the coldest take
You're
I
the-
think
you're the
I'll
one
say
out.
this entire episode.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but I don't know. I preferred him in Napoleon.
You are absolutely the minority there, but I want to give an honorable mention to Jussi Vatanen. I might butcher that name, but him in Fallen Leaves, I think totally deserves to be a part of this conversation. And even though I have criticisms about the film, I really did like Adam Driver's performance in Ferrari, so I think he deserves an honorable mention. And Jeffrey Wright's still high on my rankings. Like he's still definitely deserving of a nomination, even if there's someone else I would give it to over him. He's certainly a deserving candidate for sure.
Yeah, so I think we've got that pretty locked up. There's a lot of locks for the Oscar predictions there. So heading over to the other category for acting, we've got Best Supporting Actress. That is another one, or it's quite different actually. There's a lot of non-locks in that one. I feel like I have Divine Joy Randolph winning that. I think she is set pretty much probably the big set out winner for the whole of the Oscars. Although the rest of it is kind of the weakest acting category this year. I have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer in second, Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple. People seem to be forcing that into Oscar conversations, and I think she seems to be the standout from that, and it's a musical, so I think she's got a good chance. Julianne Moore from May December, I really loved her in that. And then this is I don't know if this will be in yours, but I have a feeling that Barbie might pick up some steam at the end of the award run, and so I've put America Ferrera in because I do not think the supporting actress is that strong anyway. So I think she might sneak in with Barbie. What do you have?
I kind of agree with you, honestly. Like this might be the weakest category, which is kind of shocking, honestly, because usually supporting female actress is pretty stacked. But I've got Emily Blunt, Joy Randolph, America Ferrera, Julianne Moore, and Jodie Foster. Now I was really struggling with that last spot because I hadn't really seen any movies where that supporting female actress was kind of prevalent. But I did some research, and the Oscars love Jodie Foster, so I think she could sneak in there, get a nom. I can't really speak much about her performance, but maybe she slides in there. And then Julianne Moore, I think she subtly put on one of the best performances of the year. She was definitely a surprise. America Ferrera, I think Ryan's totally right. Barbie's going to have a ton of noms come Oscar season, and I think she'll slide in there. And then Emily Blunt, and Davine Joy Randolph are probably the two heavy hitters that it's between. And I'm going to go with Emily Blunt. I think it's going to be Oppenheimer's night, and Emily Blunt's going to be picking up that Oscar. But Oscar, what do you think? Who are your supporting actresses?
Yeah, like you guys, I think it has been a surprisingly weak year on this side of supporting actress. Last year was really, really stacked. and also came with the biggest shock of the year. But yeah, I've gone for the exact same for Ryan. I've got Emily Blunt, Davine Joy Randolph, Julianne Moore, America Ferrera, and Danielle Brooks as well. And I had Davine Joy Randolph winning that. Like, even though it's only the Golden Globes so far, she took that home, and I honestly think she's just got so much steam behind her at the moment, just talk and everything. I think she's got that in the bag. Honestly, I think that's one of the biggest, like the earliest locks I can say for taking that award home. But yeah, those are my 5 as well. So Alex, what are yours?
Mostly the same in terms of my predictions of who I think will be nominated. It is the same as everyone else, except I have, instead of, I forget who the rest of you put, but I have Penelope Cruz getting in for Ferrari, with the others being Davine Joy Randolph, who is running away with this award. I don't need to say it. Everyone said this is by far the least competitive, and she's certainly the standout of this award and is running away with it absolutely. The other nominees I have that I'm projecting are Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Julianne Moore for May December, and Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, which I have not seen. But that's mostly the same for me as the rest of you in terms of predictions.
Yeah, so my supporting actress is kind of different again. Of course, I have Divine Joy Randolph winning because she was my personal favourite of the year. Emily Blunt still in second. Scarlett Johansson for Asteroid City in third, actually. I really wish Asteroid City would get some love from the Oscars, but that's definitely not happening. I've still got Julianne Moore for May December and Roseanne Pike for Stillborn, actually, in my number 5, who could probably do well at other award ceremonies, but I don't know if she's going to get any Oscar nominations. What about you, Will?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I got kind of a hot take here. I think Divine Joy Randolph is my 6th best leading supporting actress of the year. I don't know.
Really?
I just something about it's not resonating, and I think the Oscars kind of racist. So I think she's got an outside track. Genuinely, I think that's a genuine reason, and I think they're going to want to give Oppenheimer all the damn awards. So that's kind of why I'm going Emily Blunt. But I agree, like her picking up that Golden Globe, like kind of might cement the Oscar, but you never know. But in terms of other picks, I also picked Rosamund Pike. I think what she does in Saltburn is fantastic. She definitely is a bright spot of that film. I've also got Vanessa Kirby from Napoleon. I am notoriously high on Napoleon, contrary to the consensus community public, I guess. But Vanessa Kirby, again, one of the bright spots of that film. She's crazy good. And then I also have Penelope Cruz. I think she does enough to earn a nomination in Ferrari. The accent and performance is a little iffy at times, but I think it's just over the top enough for me to absolutely adore it. But yeah, so I leave Davine Joy Randolph out of my personal top 5, but I can see why the Oscars love her. Oscar, let's hear it.
Yeah, so for me, out of kind of the ones I've gone for, I'd replace American Ferrell and Danielle Brooks with Penelope Cruz and Rosamund Pike as well. I thought Penelope Cruz is just not going to get the love this award season. Like, I think Ferrari just isn't going to get that level on kind of the acting side of things. But I think she deserves a nomination, honestly. But which is kind of sad to see. But yeah, personal side of things. I'm yet to see the holdovers, so I'm kind of like leaving that out so far. But if from the ones I've seen, Emily Blunt so far, but that probably may change next week when I can see the holdovers. But yeah, I still think Davine Joy Randolph's got that award in the bag, though.
I'm sorry, Will. I have to disagree with what you said. That we've seen way too many. That argument was valid like 20, 30 years ago, maybe. We've seen way too many African American actors win awards recently to think that that's going to stop her from winning an award, especially when she's so far ahead of the competition here. So I think that is a wrong prediction, if I'm being honest. As for who I would personally pick, I'm going to swap out Danielle Brooks because I haven't seen the film, along with, even though she's one of my favorite actresses of all time, I'm going to also swap out Julianne Moore. And instead, I'm going to put Scarlett Johansson from Asteroid City and a very hot take, Mara Tierney from The Iron Claw, who plays the mother. And I know everyone is probably thinking that is an insane take. And the reason I say that is because, yes, I understand she has very limited screen time in that film. But the way you just see the evolution of how she represses her grief of losing children in that film is, I think, true acting accomplishment. And I think she's able to convey so much strong emotion in such a repressed way throughout the film in such a limited amount of screen time that I think it's subtly one of the best supporting female roles of this year. And that's why I'm putting her in the number 5 spot, even though her screen time doesn't match a lot of the competition here. And then I'll give an honorable mention to Rosamund Pike and Saltburn as well.
Interesting. I've not seen Iron Claw, so I can't say if
I'm excited to
I
see
agree
it.
with that or not.
She's in it
Yeah,
for like
so
4 seconds.
really.
But I mean,
Well,
It's more than
Freaking
4
Davine-
seconds. She just doesn't talk much is the thing. So you don't
Davine
know.
Joy Randolph probably has 20 minutes of screen time too. Like she doesn't have a massive impactful role in my opinion, at least.
Do you remember when
I don't
Judd
know.
Hirsch got a thing for the Favored Ones and he was in it for like 5 minutes last
I know.
year?
Hey, Mahershala Ali
Yeah.
won for Moonlight, and he was in that for literally 5 minutes, like 7 minutes or something. So you can win with a very limited role, but for me, I want something that's more empowering, even if it's a supporting role. Like you got to be relevant, you know. That's
I
just
think
my
Judd
thing.
Hirsch deserved to be there in his limited screen time. I think it's all about
it
the
was a good
impact.
5 minutes.
There's no small roles, only
5
small
minutes.
actors.
All right, fair enough.
Bradley Cooper, did he get the nomination for Licorice Pizza? I can't remember.
No, but I would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Okay, so do we want to lock in like a collaborative prediction guess, since our predictions are a bit different?
Well, I mean, I think I'll agree on Davine Joy Randolph because I can
And
definitely see
Emily
the
Blunt in
Oscars going.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them are getting in.
Julianne Moore's definitely getting in.
I agree.
I have Julianne Moore in my predictions. Do we all have Danielle
Yep.
Brooks, even though I don't think any of us.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
do.
I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be
None of
I
us have
wouldn't
seen
be
it, so.
mad about it. Yeah.
I've heard enough buzz
Yeah.
to think it's in terms of our prediction. She's probably getting in. And as for the 5 spot, I don't know how many of us have Penelope Cruz.
I can see America Ferrera taking it as the
That's what
last
I
one.
have.
Yeah, I've got America
Yeah.
Ferrera as my last.
All
as
right,
well.
I'm down to put America Ferrera there. I can definitely see that happening.
Nice. Okay, that is our locked in predictions for the Oscar nominations for supporting actress. And we'll head over to another acting category. We'll go so
This
in
one
number
is
5
stacked.
it is extremely stacked. Even there's some great performances. It's a very hard top 5 choice, but even some of these great performances might not get in. But in my number 5, I've got Charles Melton. I know it's maybe been a bit of a controversial performance. Some people not liking it, but I really liked it. So that, and I think the Oscars will like it when it comes to that time. So I'm putting in my number 5. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. I've not seen Poor Things yet, but I know both of the Poor Things boys are very good, and I can see Mark Ruffalo getting that prediction over him. Number 3, I'm going to continue in my like Barbie hype train that's going to start in a couple of months. I'm going to go Ryan Gosling. I think he could even have a chance of stealing it, maybe, if the hype gets enough.
No.
And number 2, I've got Robert De Niro. It's De Niro. He's not going to miss. And then Robert Downey Jr., who is the front runner right now. I'm going him winning the supporting actor Oscar. What do you have?
That's hilarious. I'm gonna absolutely double down on everything you're saying. I got Robert Downey Jr., Robert De Niro, Mark Ruffalo, Ryan Gosling, and Charles Melton. I think those are just performances that the Oscars will love, and I can pretty confidently lock in those 5. I think RDJ is going to pick it up, though. I think him winning that Globe, him stepping out of the MCU, the Oscars kind of want to accept him into their elite academy. So I think RDJ is going to pick it up and win Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he should.
Interesting. So for me, I have the exact same, except I think William Dafoe instead of Ryan Gosling. I think we're going to get a double Poor Things supporting actor nomination.
That happen. I hope that is what happens.
That would be hype. Like I would actually like if that happened.
And I think
I would like to see it happen.
as much as Charles Melton's been picking up a lot of steam recently. I know he didn't win the Golden Globe, but I still do think RDJ is going to get it, and that's who I hope gets it as well. But yeah, we'll see. There's still a number of award shows in between then, which I am excited to see if anything changes. So,
Yeah.
Alex, what are your predictions?
I have plenty of changes for my own list, but I do not for predictions. I have that exact 5 of Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, Charles Melton, and Mark Ruffalo. I think that's the 5 that's getting in, even though it is not the 5 that I would pick.
Great. So that was a much easier decision. Heading over to what we'd actually change, I don't think I haven't seen Poor Things, so I kind of have to change that. He probably will be my top 5 once I see it, but the only thing I'd really change is Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers. It's crazy that he was at his first performance. He basically just was in that school and got casted. So I think it was a great performance. I know some people aren't as strong on The Holdovers as that, but I really think he deserved to get a nomination in there. Yeah. Do you have any changes?
I actually don't. Originally I was kind of skeptical on a few performances, like the Barbie and Ryan Gosling and Barbie and Charles Melton in May December. I didn't think they were quite Academy tier performances, but they've since kind of come around on me. So I'm pretty comfortable locking in that 5. I think those might be the 5 best performances of the year. If not, sub out Gosling for Willem Dafoe of Poor Things. I think Oscar's onto something there. But I'm pretty content with those 5-6 guys, so I'm not going to change anything.
I'm the same. I don't think I'm going to change anything as well. I think that's who I think is going to get it and who I want to get it, honestly. Yeah. Alex.
I'm changing a lot of shit. Obviously, RDJ, I think, should win this award. He's number 1. Number 2 is De Niro, who I think is even better than people are giving him credit for, and he's getting his credit. But I think he really did give an incredible performance here, like back to that old form De Niro when he was in his glory days. Now, number 3 is where my shakeup begins. For number 3, I have from Oppenheimer, Matt Damon. I think Matt Damon's performance in Oppenheimer is getting so overshadowed by RDJ, and wrongly. Like, I walked out of that movie opening night feeling just as impressed by his performance as I did with RDJ. And I think he's just as integral to the film as RDJ. And every rewatch, I noticed so many brilliant subtleties to Matt Damon's performance. So I think they should be nominating 2 from Oppenheimer, and Matt Damon should be on that list as well, even though all the conversation is around RDJ, which I'm not a huge fan of. Number 4, I have another shakeup. I have Holt McCallany from The Iron Claw, who plays the father. I think he just embodies that role perfectly. As he's everything that character. I don't want to say much because I know some people here haven't seen it, but I think everything that character needed to be, he embodies so perfectly in an unapologetic way. And I think he is really, the way he embodies that character is so integral to the way that film and how that film, the motions of that film end up hitting as hard as they do. Number 5, I keep going back and forth between 2 names. I'm going to give it to Dominic Sessa. I just think there's going to be a lot of momentum for The Holdovers, and I think that's why I think it's a film the Academy is going to love very much, and I think that's the deciding factor for me. Honorable mention to Mark Ruffalo, who, I wouldn't be mad to see him get nominated, but just between those 2, I think I'm going to give it to Dominic Sessa.
You're making me very excited to see that flow here.
Isn't that his debut performance? That'd be crazy. Oscar on a debut.
Yeah, it is.
That's happened before, right? Someone's got to have done that.
It has. That's going to hurt his chances, though. Like the Oscars, let's not act. Definitely. They are neglectful towards younger actors as a whole.
Sure.
There's very much a put your time in type of thing to this, where the younger you are, the less likely they are to give you your shot.
And those acting awards usually are legacy awards, like Gary Oldman, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like those aren't their best roles. They just are legacy awards that they're like coming around on them. So, yeah, interesting to see how that'll play out.
Now let's move on to the most stacked category of the night. Ryan, take us away.
By far and away the most stacked. Yeah,
definitely.
This is an unfairly competitive award this year.
Yeah, it is. It's insane.
Some really good people are going to lose. Some really good people aren't going to get nominated, which is
I can see like three possible winners.
Many very deserving people are not going to get a nomination, no matter which way they do it. Even if they pick my perfect, even if they pick the 5 I want, good performances are getting
still sad.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Ryan, what are your predictions?
4 possible winners. Yeah, and my number 5, I've got Greta Lee. That's maybe me being hopeful, but I definitely hope she gets in number 5 in the last spot. I've got Sandra Hüller in 4 for Anatomy of a Fall, that is worthy of a straight winner in any other year. So it's crazy that it's not even up right up at the top. I've got Carey Mulligan in Maestro, Emma Stone in Poor Things, and then obviously Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, who just won at the Golden Globes. So she's in a very good position because she's winning a lot of critics awards as well. She's right up at the top.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I've got a really similar list. I've got 4 of the same, 1 different. So I got Margot Robbie, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone, Sandra Huller, and Lily Gladstone. I had like Emma Stone or Sandra Huller winning this award until like a couple hours ago. I think those 3, like Lily Gladstone, Sandra Huller, and Emma Stone, put in the 3 best performances of the year. And if either 3 of them won, I wouldn't be mad at all. But after seeing the Globes, I've kind of since thought that Gladstone's kind of a lock for this now. So I'm gonna pick the Oscars picking Gladstone to win, but you never know. Like it's such a stacked category, like we said. So not sure who will pick it up.
Wait,
Oscar,
sorry.
who
Who
you're
are your
for?
other 2 aside from those 3?
Carey Mulligan and Margot Robbie.
Got it.
I have the exact same nominations as Will. I've got Margot Robbie in 5th, then Carey Mulligan in 4th. The top 3 is ridiculously close. Sandra Huller, Lily Gladstone, and Emma Stone it's absolutely insane. For me though, I have Emma Stone is who I want to win, and I think she's going to win it, honestly. I know, well, obviously it's difficult with the Globes because there's one for comedy and one for drama, and both Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone picked up those. So that it's kind of difficult to tell off that. But I think Emma Stone is going to pick it up, but I wouldn't be mad with either. I wouldn't be mad if Sandra Huller just came in and just swept the pair of them off their feet and took it as well. But yeah, it's ridiculously stacked, and there's definitely a kind of couple honorable mentions that I'll mention later. But yeah, Alex, what are your predictions?
So my predictions are essentially the same as Oscar and Will. I'm very much on. Let me start by saying this. If Margot Robbie gets nominated for fucking Barbie the year after she was robbed for Babylon, I am going to throw a brick at my TV. Because that
She's
is
going to get
Babylon.
nominated.
Her getting robbed for Babylon is one of the biggest robberies I've seen in recent years. And her getting nominated for fucking Barbie is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not a top 3 Margot performance. It's not, but it's a legacy. Acting awards are legacy awards.
That should have been last year, her legacy award. Anyway, I think realistically, who's going to get in? I think that there's enough momentum for Barbie's campaign that I think that they likely will. I'm still kind of hopeful in terms of who has a realistic shot that Natalie Portman gets that 5 spot, and I think it's still very possible. Listen, there's always an out of left field performance nomination. Every year there's one that's just no one saw coming, out of left field. We're all mostly agreeing on these. Like there's going to be 1 or 2 where we're like
Andrea Riseborough last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, what the hell?
We're going to get one that we don't expect to be there. So
You're right.
I think that there's, anything can happen. As for, who's going to win this award, who I think is going to win, I think that last year, we should really take a look at last year because obviously Michelle Yeoh last year gave an incredible performance in Everything Ever All at Once. Cate Blanchett was better. I feel like most people probably know that Cate Blanchett last year was the best performance of that year. However, Cate Blanchett's won before. I think she's actually won twice before. And, Michelle Yeoh is someone who had been unappreciated her whole career and is now finally getting this appreciation and spotlight. And I think there was just so much momentum, not as much for that the performance is better, as much as she was just someone people wanted to see her win. And Blanchett's someone who people had already seen her get her moment, where this was just very much Michelle Yeoh's time. And I think just hearing the applause Lily Gladstone got at the Globes and seeing how much excitement there was for her to win that award is why I'm starting to think that as the season goes on, she's going to end up being the one who takes home that award because Emma Stone's won before. And I think Emma Stone is the better performance, I think. I think Emma Stone is easily the better performance of the 2. However, I just think that she's won an Oscar before. And Lily Gladstone, there's a lot of meaning behind that performance and what that award would mean. And I think she's just who people want to see take home this award, which is why I'm starting to swing who I think is going to win to Lily Gladstone, just because simply the excitement behind her and how much people want to see her win.
Yeah, there's a good narrative. The first Native American woman to win an Oscar. That's a good narrative behind her. I think, yeah, exactly what you said. We do see like those like what people want to do, like with Everything Everywhere All at Once last year. We've seen it with Coda in 2021. Like everybody just loved seeing them at the award shows, and that eventually led to Troy Kotsur winning Best Supporting Actor and then ended up winning Best Picture. So it really that does go behind like how people enjoy like just how they are at award shows and how much they like them. That really does sway it a bit. So yeah, we've got kind of a set prediction here. What did we? I think it was one slot we didn't decide on for. Are we
I think
putting
three of us had
Margot Robbie in
Robbie,
the?
so that would be Margot Robbie.
Yeah, we'll go Margot Robbie.
For our prediction, not our personal picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay.
Gladstone, Huller, Stone, Mulligan, Robbie.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan, what are you changing?
Oh no, I'm happy with that.
Oh, really?
Mostly.
Okay, I'll make a change then.
Oh no, I've got one change actually. Natalie Portman in May December. I think that
Instead
was
of
a
who?
really good performance from her. I don't know why she's not getting more buzz because I think
Yeah,
she was
best
probably the best
performance
in
in the
that
film for
movie.
me.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I said she was best performance in May December for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Again, like these five, I wouldn't be too upset about, but like the fact that Margot Robbie has I, Tonya and Babylon and so many more better performances that she didn't get nominated for, and then she's gonna sneak in for this shithole of a performance in Barbie is just like makes me want to vomit. So I'm gonna take her out, and I'm gonna put Kaylee Spaney in because Priscilla's just not getting enough love as a movie as a whole, and she is fantastic. Like her and Elordi are two really good young stars that are able to bounce off one another pretty seamlessly. She definitely like sinks into that role, and they capture that like awkward relationship that isn't like creepy, but it still is kind of creepy. I think she just does a fantastic job, and I would love to see her get nominated. I just think she's got an outside shot.
Now that is a dub.
I do like that, and she, for me, is just outside of it. But this category is just so stacked that I think there's a couple better performances. For me, I'd swap out Margot Robbie for Greta Lee. That would be my only personal change. I would really, really love to see that, but I honestly do not see it, which is a shame. But yeah, that would be my only personal change. The rest can stay the same.
All right,
I can
got a
see
lot to
Greta
say
Lee
about
getting in.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think Greta Lee, Past Lives, if there's a campaign, it could get some heat and she could sneak in. So I'd like to see that happen as well.
100% end up here. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
What are you changing, Alex?
I'm just gonna go down the line. This is now my personal pick. I got Emma Stone winning at one for Poor Things. If I'm personal, listen, I would love to see Lily Gladstone win. I think it would be a tremendous thing to see. I think it would be important for a number of reasons. But if I'm just judging by who's the best performance, I got Emma Stone in my one. Number two, off the board, I got Margaret Qualley in Sanctuary. That is a film that is not that great of a script and has literally no business.
Why are you laughing?
Because Oscar called it, bro. He was like, Margaret Qualley.
I did. I thought at the start of the thing, I was like, you put Margaret Qualley in here by any chance?
It's literally the amount. It's a film that has no business being good and has no business. I don't like dialogue movies. I don't really like chamber pieces.
Yeah, it's not a film I'd think you'd like if you hadn't
It's
seen
not
it
a film
already.
I think I would like, and it's not a film that's like. It's not even that. It's a chamber piece without that great of a script too. And I think the director there did a great job of keeping it visually interesting. But like the amount of different faces Margaret Qualley makes in that, and just the versatility of her performance in that, I think is truly like, I thought for sure this was going to be, she was going to be the best performance of the year and would be the best, I think, in most years, except for the fact that Emma Stone happened to do Poor Things in the same year. But most years I would pick this as the best performance because it's literally an unwatchable film without her. Like if you put 99% of actresses, it's not a great film. So I'm easily Margaret Qualley number two. Just the versatility in her emotions, her faces, what she does with her hands is incredible in that film. Number three, Carey Mulligan and Maestro. I think Carey Mulligan, we know what a force she is as an actress, and she's super accomplished. And obviously she's just great in Maestro. Anyone who's seen Maestro, if they don't like it, is talking about how great her performance is. I really don't need to say much more there. Number four, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Choi Seung-yoon for Rice Boy Sleeps. That film, so much the emotion works because of the motherly love that you feel from her and the complexity of what she's feeling and going through. It's a film that's absolutely carried by its performances and mainly by this performance. That film has so much heart and is so emotionally effective because of how believable and real her performance feels.
That's
And
her
then
first
for number
performance as
5,
well, which is crazy.
what's
Is
up?
that even eligible for an Oscar? Rice Boy Sleeps.
I don't know, but nobody's seen it, so
It's not, but I think Alec, that was his personal.
That's fair. That's fair. If it's personal, that's fair.
Right. And then number 5, fuck yous. I'm cheating. I'm doing a tie between Lily Gladstone and Callie Spaney. I'm not picking between them. That's a tie for me. I'm picking 6 nominees. It's my list. I don't give a shit. I'm not picking. And then I'll give honorable mentions to Natalie Portman, Sandra Huller, and Alma Poisty for Fallen Leaves, which is the most underrated performance in this category this year. Well, Marquardt is most underrated, but this is the second most underrated in this category this year.
I think leaving Sandra Huller off is a mistake. I think Huller would be my personal pick to win it. Honestly, I think Stone and Gladstone do a remarkable job. Don't get me wrong, but I think I'd pick Huller. But it's one ABC for me, so I'm not mad either way.
She's a deserving
so many
candidate
things.
for sure. It's just such a stacked year that I think there's so many
yeah.
different combinations here that could work. So, like, if she gets a nomination, I'm not looking. It's not like the Margot Robbie where I'm looking at it like that's not one of these things isn't like the other, but it's just not. I wouldn't quite pick her just simply because of the tough competition. Whereas Margot Robbie for Barbie doesn't make my top 10.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
that's fair. Okay, that is all of our acting predictions set out and locked in. We're going to head over to some technical awards, and first we'll be heading over to Best Cinematography. So yes, this is another pretty strong year. I've not seen some of the ones that are getting predicted, so it was kind of a hard choice for me for what order to put in. But in 5th, I decided to put The Zone of Interest in because it seems like a film that has some great cinematography. Number 4 had Maestro in. Number 3, Poor Things, which I've also not seen, but that seems like a lock for cinematography. Number 2, I've got Clouds of the Flower Moon. That is definitely getting in. And then number 1, my winner would be Van Hoytema for Oppenheimer. I think that is definitely my number 1 of the year, and I hope it is the number 1 for the Oscars as well. Well, what do you have as your predictions?
Yeah, I've got a very similar list of predictions. My 5 are Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Maestro, and Zone of Interest. I think all of those are relatively Academy happy movies, so I think I can see all of those getting nominations. I haven't seen Zone of Interest, but kind of same thing. Like I've heard about how beautiful of a film it is, apparently. So I've added it into mine. And then Maestro, again, I threw it in there because I think the Academy is going to want Bradley all over this. So it's kind of a petty nomination, but I think he might get it, unfortunately. And then for the top 3, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things, I think those are 3 of the best shot cinematically of the year. Like the scale of all 3 of those films is pretty immaculate. So I'd be happy with any of them winning, but what I think is going to happen is Oppenheimer taking it home. But yeah, we'll see. Oscar, what do you think?
Yeah, so mine is exactly the same except for one thing. Maybe a bit of an upset. I don't know why I think this. It's not necessarily what I want, but instead of Killers of the Flower Moon, I think Saltburn is going to sneak in there very sneakily.
It's outrageous.
Honestly, and that's not my.
I mean, I think so.
Personal thing, but that's what I think the Academy is going to go with. But yeah, definitely for me, Oppenheimer winning it. That's literally the only one I can actually see winning it. Zone of Interest, a close second for me. Incredibly shot. But yeah, I think Oppenheimer's going to take that, definitely. Alex?
Let's not forget that this is they probably fuck this category up every year more than any other category. Like last year, let's not forget the Northman The Batman, Babylon, After Sun, Decision to Leave. Nope, shouldn't have been there. So forget that.
Yes, it should have been.
But those 5
Yes, it
films
should have been.
were not nominated for Best Cinematography. Like The Northman not getting nominated is actually incredible. I think The Batman is going to be insanely. I'm not going to rant about last year. I'll move on. But to a degree, I'm trying to pick the wrong ones here because I know they're going to mess this up. My predictions in a random order are Linus Sandgren for Saltburn, who I think they like Linus Sandgren, so I think he gets in. Robbie Ryan for Poor Things. Rodrigo Prieto for Killers of the Flower Moon. Hoyt van Hoytema for Oppenheimer. And Lucas Zale, or Zal, apologize for mispronouncing that, for The Zone of Interest. And I'm very tempted. If it wasn't Linus Sandgren, I'd be very tempted to put Barbie in here over
no way.
Saltburn, because I think they will fuck it up that badly. I think they will make do something.
That'd be outrageous.
I would walk into traffic.
A car ad.
I really like the cinematography in the Bible. I really like, but the middle section of that film is the ugliest, one of the ugliest and worst shot sections of the year.
Listen, I will be furious if it gets his Best Cinematography nomination, but I also don't for a second think it's out of the question.
Yeah, no, I think there's a chance that it could get sneaky in there.
It is shot like a car ad.
Yeah, the whole movie kind of sucks. Like, I'm not, even when you're in Barbie Land, like, they don't do a good job.
No. I like the Barbie Land stuff, like the way it's shot and the production and everything, but the middle section is, the real world stuff is just awful in terms of, the cinematography.
Let's not forget Elvis got one last year. Let's not forget Elvis nominated for Best Cinematography last year.
At least that was
very much Barbie and Maestro are going to be the Elvis of last year.
Yeah, could happen.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Actually, no, to be fair, I can see Barbie picking up a few things, honestly.
Yeah, Barbie's going to pick up a couple. All right, Ryan, take us away. What are you changing?
I'm only changing one thing. Oh, no, I've not seen Poor Things. Yeah, so I've got Saltburn in my number 5 because that was my number 6. I wasn't sure about that or Zone of Interest, but I went with that since it kind of looks like the better film. Number 4, Will is not going to like this one, but I have got John Wick 4. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful film throughout many of it. I think that definitely deserves it, and it will probably get nothing other than maybe some random technicals from the Oscars, maybe. Definitely won't get a cinematography. And then number 3, I have Past Lives. I think that definitely deserves to get into the 5. But other than that, I kind of aligned with the Oscars.
For Best Cinematography, Past Lives, it's an insane statement, but
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to double down.
The best parts of the film.
How do you not think that's not one of the best shot films of the year? I don't think it's going to be nominated.
How do you think it's one of the best shot films of the year?
Because I have eyes.
You're crazy.
Insane statement.
That's
But
why there's
I'll
so
let you
many
continue.
insane shots.
Not blind.
Yeah, I got a few changes. Actually, a decent amount of changes for cinematography here. I think I do want Oppenheimer to win. Hoyt van Hoytema, I think he's gonna win. I do want him to win. He is my favorite, kind of a lock, honestly. And that too, I got Christopher Liu for Rice Boy Sleeps. I think that is a gorgeously shot film and just like a textbook on how you shoot an intimate picture. Again, it's not eligible for Oscars because it was released last year technically, but still shouting it out. It's such a gorgeous film. 3, I got Poor Things, Robbie Ryan. Again, it's a great film. Great job of immersing you in its world. So obviously it deserves a cinematography nom for me. And then I've got Past Lives as well on the same level of Rice Boy Sleeps in terms of intimate storytelling. You don't need some sweeping epic to showcase cinematography. You can do a lot with the mise-en-scene in close, intimate areas. And I think Past Lives exemplifies that to a T. There's some really nice scenes that people are just talking over Skype that are shot so intimately and engrossingly, enthrallingly that make a Skype call seem so interesting. I cannot sing enough praise about Past Lives. Maybe the best shot film of the year. And then I've got Anatomy of Fall as well. Simon Beaufils. I think that is a beautifully shot film as well. Great use of colors and cold colors. I can't say too much about it because you should go in blind. But Anatomy of a Fall deserves to be there as well. Such a intricately shallow depth of field, so buttery smooth, great camera movements. But yeah, so I got a lot of changes for cinematography, but I wouldn't be I'd be shocked if anything won that wasn't Oppenheimer, so I think that's kind of a lock. But Oscar, I want to hear what your picks are.
Great list, Will. Great list.
Yeah, for me, I'd replace Maestro and Saltburn out of my picks with Past Lives and John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah, Past Lives. Alex is on crack. That's one of the best shot films of the year. There are so many insane shots. I think honestly, actually thinking about it now, I'm actually not John Wick Chapter 4. I'm going to go for May December instead of John Wick Chapter 4. That has like I don't know why, but mirror shots like both Past Lives and May December have them, and I love them so much. Every time I see a mirror shot, it just makes me so happy. And that one in May December, when in the clothes store, so good. That's one of my favorite shots of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna go with switch out Maestro and Saltburn with May December and Past Lives. There, I think that's sneakily one of the best cinematographies of the year, May December. But Alex, what are your changes?
May December for best cinematography. That's another real winner, Oscar. All right, I'm changing fucking everything. I'm changing all 5. Not one movie that I would put in my top 5 I think is getting in here.
I don't think Alex knows what cinematography is.
No, the only one here is actually
you're gonna change Oppenheimer out of that.
I have no idea what cinematography is.
Are you changing Oppenheimer? You're changing all 5.
I am 100% changing Oppenheimer. To say Oppenheimer is going
to win 100%?
is a hard statement. To say it deserves to win is absolutely insane. It's a talking head movie. The sound design and the music carries that movie. To say that deserves best cinematography.
Are you being serious?
I'm 110% serious. Oppenheimer does not deserve best cinematography.
That is ill. I think this is the biggest lock maybe out of any award.
I think it's yet to win. Yeah, you're probably right. It will win. Should it win? No.
In my personal opinion, I think it's my easiest pick.
Not top 5.
That is the easiest lock of the year.
Okay, let's hear this brutal
let me
list.
educate.
Like Teenage Mutant Mayhem. Let's go.
Mario.
Best Mayhem ever again. Don't ever associate my name with such a mid film ever again. That is disrespectful. Tash, I hope you're listening.
Okay, Alex,
starting us off. Gonna butcher this name like I probably have many others. Powell Pogorzelski for Beau is Afraid. Beau is Afraid, the compositions are so insanely detailed and precise, way more than any other of the shit that the rest of you just named. The way he literally moves your eye from one end of the frame to the other and moves your eye throughout the frame. The motions, the color, the speed, the intimate close-ups of Joaquin Phoenix, that is literally some of the greatest cinematography I've seen, not just this year, but in all of recent years. Like, that should be a lock down the board on everyone's list. Now we're getting number 2, Robbie Ryan for Poor Things. Not as much for everyone in this film is talking about the fisheye, real wide shots. I'm not putting it here because of that, as impressive as that is. I'm actually putting it here because I think he does an incredible job of capturing the Ingmar Bergman super tight and intimate like close-ups. And I think these super intimate close-ups are some of the biggest strengths of the film and make a lot of the scenes so insanely effective. And it's just the balance between the ultra wide and the ultra close are incredible. And I actually am hoping that he somehow can pull off a win here because I think he's someone who I think is deserving of a win, who actually has a chance to. So I'm putting Robbie Ryan for Poor Things in. Then I'm putting Matthew Libatique for Maestro. Say what you want about Maestro. That is a great cinematography film. That is an insanely well shot film. There's no denying that. So I think that absolutely deserves to be in here.
The first half is. First, second half.
I'll admit there's a bit of fall off in the second half, and I think that's I'll put it this way. It's my number 5 on here. Like of the 5 I have, that is.
But over Past Lives is
that
nonsense.
Over Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it is.
100% over Oppenheimer. Yes, it's better than shooting.
How it's not better?
The shoulders up. Yes.
No way.
It's literally half of the movie is talking. Half of the movie is this, what we're looking at right now. Half of the movie is me looking at the 3.
It's like the most exciting thing I've ever seen. What do you mean it's talking heads?
I think that's
it's exciting because of the music, the sound design, and the script, not because of the cinematography. That's not Nolan's style. He's not a cinematography director. He'll have a couple scenes that blow you away, and the rest is talking heads.
Wait, Van Hoytema he's insane, man.
He's talented. This isn't his most impressive work. It's not.
Also, his talking heads are far more intriguing than just about any movie you put on your list.
His talking heads, his close-ups are nowhere near as good as Robbie Ryan's in Poor Things. The close-ups and talking heads in Poor Things are far above.
Close-up when he's in the crowd.
Actually,
that's amazing.
What's up?
Yeah.
when he's in the
That gym
crowd
scene
with
at the
the
end, yeah.
the gym scene.
I'm not saying
They're
there's
great
not
close-ups.
good shots in the movie. I'm saying like every frame is a painting as Beau is afraid. That is not Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a couple great shots in the movie that is mostly talking head.
But I don't think you need like to have every single scene be some sweeping epic shot
It's
to be
best
good
cinematography. It's not best picture. It's
No, yeah, I know. But I think
You know,
good cinematography isn't just a fuck fest of crazy over the top cinematography. It's a combination of close-ups, long shots, like diversity. I think what Oppenheimer does so well is it balances all of that.
Medium close-up talking heads. It's mediums and medium close-up talking heads. That's not diversity. It's letting the actor talk and making sure that you don't notice the cinematography because you're there to listen to the actor talk. You're not there to look at the images. It's not telling the story through the images half the movie, which is fine. It's my number one of the year. I'm just saying the cinematography is not that
I
movie's
know, but
strength.
I think you calling the cinematography weak. We're not putting it in your top
I didn't
five.
call it weak. I said it is not Oscar nomination worthy, which it's not.
That's
it's not
crazy.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Oh my
that's
god.
crazy.
And
Okay,
now, finishing my list off, another one that every one of you should have had. I thought at least Ryan would have it, so I'm disappointed. Robert Yeoman for Asteroid City. If you're going to sit here and argue with me that Oppenheimer is better cinematography than Asteroid City, then you're just brain dead and I can't help you.
It does.
I should have
Honorable
that.
mention, The Line of Sandgren for Saltburn, which is very deserving here. It was tough between Saltburn and Maestro for this list, but 6 deserving ones, all better cinematography than Oppenheimer. That's my list.
That's ill. That's so ill.
I will change my top 5. I would have like Asteroid City like second or third.
Yeah, I think I got Asteroid City still just out of my top 5. I kind of forgot about it, but
yeah,
I swear user confusing best screenplay with best cinematography on some of it.
No,
you're nominating films that literally the cinematography takes a backseat for the screenplay, which is fine if that's what that film needed to be.
Your interpretation of cinematography
in the simplicity of like things like
misconstrued.
past lives. Like it doesn't have to be flashy cinematography.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be flashy cinematography.
That is, they're not stories told through images.
Yes.
Past lives is the epitome of stories told through images.
When that's the blocking, not the cinematography. That is not the same thing.
That is cinematography.
Blocking
There's
would
an
definitely
element to it.
fall into mise-en-scene cinematography. But
actually, wait a minute, hold on. I only gave you 4 options. I didn't give you my winner because my winner is intimate cinematography. It is not flashy cinematography.
Not sanctuary.
It's mise-en-scène, and it is way better at intimacy, visual storytelling through small things, not big sweeping shots that Will keeps talking about. And that is, hold on, let me get the name. Timo Salminen for Fallen Leaves. That is the best cinematography of the year. And that is intimate, that is not flashy, and it's the best of the year.
Is that a terrible take, Oscar?
It's not, well, I mean, it's not top 5. It's top 10.
If you have Oppenheimer over Fallen Leaves for cinematography, I genuinely don't think you know what cinematography is.
I can't believe you don't have Oppenheimer.
You know what we're doing? I'm getting real cinematographers on this.
This Oppenheimer street trip has come out of nowhere.
At the awards, I'm literally calling multiple of my cinematographer friends. And I'm going to have them come on here and see what they think.
I don't care about your friends' opinions.
I'm talking about people who are professionally working DPs in the industry. I want to see what they think because I think all 3 of you are on crack.
All right. Are we moving on?
Oh dear. We settled on a 5. That is including Oppenheimer because the 3 of us have got it.
Well, then for the predictions, I'm putting Oppenheimer too. I put 5 films that I don't have on my list.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fuck this award up every year.
Yeah, I think we agreed with the top 5. Okay, we'll head over to Will's specialty. We'll head over to editing.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my editing, I have Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and then Oppenheimer at number 1. If you're disagreeing with that, Alex, there will be problems.
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth a lot on this because like different edits provide, different things, just like everything, I guess. But my 5 are Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Barbie, and The Holdovers. I think the Oscars will just love those movies. I think those are well edited movies and good enough for the Academy to lap them up. So I think those are pretty pretty good picks.
Yeah, I've gone for the exact same picks as Ryan. Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Now to Be Fallen. I've got Oppenheimer winning it, and that's what I'd want to win, honestly. From what I've
Oh yeah,
seen.
I forgot to mention I've got Killers of the Flower Moon winning it.
Interesting.
Yeah, same.
Interesting.
Oh,
I
no,
think
Alex,
Oppenheimer, actually.
oh, what are you going to say, Will?
I was just I think that Oppenheimer is going to clean up a lot of other awards, and they're going to want Scorsese and Killers of the Flower Moon to pick something up. And I think editing is a great award to give them. So I think they'll probably pick it up.
Fair enough, fair enough. Alex, bless us with your takes.
Ryan, you completely missed my point if you think that I'm not giving Oppenheimer this award because, like I said, it's not a good cinematography. It's well-edited cinematography, and I think that is the strength of this film. So Oppenheimer 100% deserves to win this award. What else I think will be nominated? This is one. It's just one of those awards you could literally go in any direction. Like you just never know where they're going to go here. So I think Barbie's definitely getting in. It's just they just want any excuse to give Barbie something, and an award like this that can go in any direction. Barbie is. Killers of the Flower Moon, which, you know, I wouldn't give it this award, but the juxtaposition of scenes and all of that is such a strength of the film. So it's certainly a deserving nominee and would be a deserving winner in a lot of other years. Going to put Poor Things in here. And then for my fifth one, maybe it's a little unlikely because it's animated, but I'm putting Across the Spider-Verse.
I was heavily considering that as well, but I don't think that's something the Academy would do.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Of course, Spider-Verse is going to get done over the awards this year. I think it's only going to win one thing.
We'll get to that. All
right, what are we going with for our predictions? Am I the only one who had Across the Spider-Verse? What the rest of you have?
Yeah.
Right, so you had the Holdovers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if it's 3-1, Holdovers is the
Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Barbie, Holdovers.
Does anyone have changes?
I have Oppenheimer,
Did you have Barbie?
Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Holdovers. I didn't have Barbie.
I had Anatomy of a Fall over Barbie.
Oh, so you guys think Anatomy of Fall ahead of Barbie? Are we two split on this?
Ooh.
I mean, I would like to see Anatomy of a Fall there over Barbie.
Same.
I would like to tell you that you're right, but I don't think there's any chance Barbie's not getting nominated here. I think if anything, Poor Things is what we get the bump.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. I
Really?
think Poor Things is more on the edge than Barbie. I think Barbie, this is one of those where it's like so simply edited that they'll be like, oh my God, we can just throw it in. Nobody will ever notice.
Yeah, sure.
Because
Yeah,
what
I'm fine
really
for Barbie
defines
then.
good editing for most people, like I think I have my own interpretation of what I think it is, but like any movie in the Best Picture conversation, they can make a valid pitch for editing. And obviously then they're just going to give it to Barbie because they want any excuse to give Barbie a nomination this year.
Fair.
So we're rolling with Barbie, I guess.
Yeah.
Lock that in.
Yeah, we will.
Cool. What are you changing, Ryan?
I would do the same as Alex. I would put Across the Spider-Verse in my number 5, but that's all I would change.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Personally.
But I don't think I actually did it. My editing. Sorry, I gotta find my. I have Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives. Oh, I do have Across the Spider-Verse, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. I think editing, I don't know if it just like for me personally, but it generally translates to the best film of the year. Like Alex was kind of saying, like best picture generally are the best edited. So my picks are kind of just like my favorite films of the year. And I think Oppenheimer, I was between Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, but I've since switched to Killers of the Flower Moon. I think that's going to pick it up, and I want that to pick it up. So, yeah. Oscar, how about you?
I'm sticking with what I've got, to be honest. I know I haven't seen the Holdovers, but yeah. I'll stick with what I got.
For me, what defines best editing is the way the film's cut and the placement of each shot next to each other, and just the length each shot is held when they cut, and when you take away music and script and all that, just simply the cutting of the scene and the rhythm of the cutting and all that. So for that reason, it's easily Oppenheimer for me, with Killers of the Flower Moon at a close second. As for compared to my predictions, I am going to swap out Barbie and Poor Things for Beau is Afraid and Asteroid City, with Across the Spider-Verse also staying for me in terms of my personal picks.
I think I'll swap out the Holdovers as Zone of Interest, actually. Yeah,
Cool.
that's
That's
my
our
final
low
one.
10 nominations.
It's interesting you
Well,
bring up
happy with that.
Asteroid City because I didn't. I think
Yeah.
honestly, I thought that was kind of a weak point of the film. I thought it was a little all over the place. That it didn't really like serve the story in terms of it being super meta, in my opinion. But interesting shout, like good.
I think that's more
good
the
take.
script. I think in terms of like the rhythms he creates with his cutting, I think he does a very good job of. I think in terms of being all over the place and hard to follow is a little more the scene juxtaposition, which I at least would put that on the script before the editing. The editing,
I mean, I'm
more
talking about the edit. Like I'm talking about the way shots
scenes.
flow into one another. I think it's
Ah.
not done in a way that I would. But
Agree to disagree there.
yeah, I agree. It's interesting to see your perspective.
Okay, so we're all happy with those 5 nominations.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Cool. So we'll head over to best international feature of the year. Now, personally, like for personal choices, that's quite a hard one because I haven't seen.
mhm.
Well, the ones I've seen are very different to the ones that are even up for the Oscars because the countries have to put forward their own movies. But
Mhm.
for what I think the Oscars will pick, I've went for Perfect Days from Japan, Fallen Leaves from Finland, The Taste of Things for France, because the fact that they picked that over Anatomy of a Fall, it must be a very strong film. Society of the Snow, Spain, that's the first one that I've actually seen. And then winning it, I have The Zone of Interest from the United Kingdom.
I have the exact same picks as you, Ryan. I've got Zone of Interest, Fallen Leaves, Society of the Snow, The Taste of Things, and Perfect Days. Kind of the same logic. I haven't seen a ton of those just because those countries put forward their like second or third best film, which is bizarre. But I think Zone of Interest picks this up. It's a Best Picture nominee, so it really should pick it up here.
And I have the exact same 5 nominations as everybody else. I've seen Fallen Leaves, Society of the Snow, and The Zone of Interest. So I still got to see The Taste of Things and Perfect Days only because they aren't out here yet. But yeah, I think this is an absolute lock for Zone of Interest. Honestly, can't really see anything else winning it, considering Anatomy of a Fall is not here, which I'll be happy about because I think that might be about one of the only things that it could pick up, unfortunately, as things are looking at the moment. But I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do.
Wait, did everyone have Fallen Leaves getting in?
Yeah.
In that case, then my predictions matches everyone, not my personal picks. But I will mention I've heard that a film called The Teacher's Lounge is picking up some momentum out of Germany, and I know that's getting a release over here. So if there's anyone that could sneak in, I think that's one I haven't seen yet, but I'm hearing the name. But my predictions right now are the same as everyone else.
Cool.
Ryan, do you have any? Do you have any changes?
Yeah, so my changes are quite different just because I've not seen a lot of them. But for best international feature, my number one would be Godzilla. Obviously, it didn't get put forward by Japan. That'd be my winner. And then number 2, Anatomy of a Fall, also did not get put forward by France. Number 3, I have Godland, which actually is in the list put forward, but it doesn't seem to be an Oscar favorite. Although that is honestly one of the better pictures of the year, in my opinion. I think it definitely should be in that 5. And number 4, When Evil Lurks. I think is that an Argentinian film, Oscar?
I believe. I think it is.
But
It's.
I can't remember.
Argentinian. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then number 5, I have Sisu, which I didn't even think was that good. I just didn't have another international feature that I've seen to get put in that top 5. Did you have any other changes?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ryan. I didn't see a ton of international features, but I'd probably nominate, if they did, Anatomy of a Fall and Rice Boy Sleeps from Canada and France. Those are like 2 really, really good films that just like didn't get nominated.
Well, Rice Boy Sleeps in the same boat as like Past Lives. It's not like a. I suppose it would count as an international, wouldn't it?
It's Canadian.
It's this language. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then, yeah, I guess that's kind of Godzilla -1 maybe would be my pick to win it, but obviously Anatomy of a Fall is not an entry winner. So yeah, I don't know. My pick to win it wouldn't be an entry winner, so I can't really pick a favorite here. Oscar, what do you think?
I'd still have Zone of Interest on top, definitely without a doubt. And then Godzilla -1 and Anatomy of a Fall, definitely. Then Society. Then actually, no, I can't have 2 things from one country, can I? So then I'll have Society of the Snow on there,
You can on your personal list. You can double up on country on your personal list.
If we're doing that, then so that would have Zone of Interest, Godzilla -1, Anatomy of a Fall, Boy and the Heron, and Society of the Snow.
I like that list. I like that a lot.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen a ton of foreign films yet, only because most of them haven't traveled over here yet, and I would have seen many more if we got the chance, but just most of them haven't made their way to America yet, unfortunately. But a couple are coming in the coming months, which I look forward to seeing because this is one of the most important categories and is normally one of the best categories. My current selection is 3 films from Japan: Monster, Godzilla -1, and Raisuke Hamaguchi's Evil Does Not Exist, which is a beautiful meditative piece most people haven't got the chance to see yet. And then from Canada, Rice Boy Sleeps, very powerful emotional film, which is one of the best of the year. And then the winner, the beautiful, intimate, non-flashy cinematography, which is the best cinematography of the year, far above Oppenheimer. I have the beautiful film Fallen Leaves.
Nice.
I really have to see Fallen Leaves. I have to watch it.
It is really, really great, and it is.
I know.
It's a beautiful movie.
Really funny.
All this praise, man.
Nice 4-star film.
All right, we could probably move on to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement with that. So moving on to best animated feature. This is another. It's kind of a 2-horse lead or 2-horse race in the Oscars. But and winning it, I think, will eventually be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm going to take as my prediction, with The Boy and the Heron being in second. And then we don't have the greatest selection that the Oscars are actually going for. So I think in third and 4 or 5, Elemental and Nimona, I think, which is a Netflix film. I think people actually quite like that. And then 5th, I've got Alex's favorite film of the year, Super Mario Bros. Just because it's a popular film, so they might just throw
What
it in.
about that film?
Thank God you didn't pick Ninja Turtles.
I've got a pretty similar list. I feel like this year was kind of top heavy for the animated features. I've got Across the Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron. Kind of everyone loves those, but then you get to the shit films that are someone's gonna have to get nominated. And I've slid in here Elemental, Dawn of the Nugget, and Super Mario Bros. I don't think any 3 of those deserve to have any type of Oscar affiliation. It's just kind of like what I've read, and just the year of animation has been a little bit lackluster as a whole. So that's what I think is going to be the Oscar noms. I think Across the Spider-Verse is going to be picking it up, but I wouldn't be surprised if Boy and the Heron did, because we all saw it pick it up at the Globes. But yeah, interesting category this year.
And could
Oscar,
be a
what do you
legacy
think?
year for Miyazaki as well.
So for me, I've gone for Dawn of the Nugget, Elemental, Nimona, Boy and the Heron, and Across the Spider-Verse. I think Boy and the Heron's going to take it, honestly. Across the Spider-Verse is my number 1 animated film of the year, but I would not be mad at all if I see Boy and the Heron win. A lot of people will be. A lot of people, considering the reaction that we saw at the Globes. But yeah, I think the Boy and the Heron's going to take it. I wouldn't be mad about that, but it's my number 2. So, Alex, what are your predictions?
Pretty much the same as everyone else. I got Across Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron are the only 2 that are really in competition. Then I haven't seen a lot of animated films this year. So after that, I got Super Mario Bros. And Elemental, and then Dawn of the Nugget, which I haven't seen. I agree that I think Boy and the Heron ends up taking it home, because I think there is a bit of American bias, of course, that's favoring Across the Spider-Verse. But at the same time, I think that Miyazaki is a legacy award for him, and Across the Spider-Verse is part 1. We all know it's going to be back for the 3rd film, which very well could be a Best Picture nominee that year. So I think with it being Miyazaki towards the end of such a legendary career, and Across the Spider-Verse due for a sequel, I think that's why The Boy and the Heron is going to take it home this year, even though the Oscars is going to have a certain level of bias against it for not being the American film.
But I think that's a really solid thought process. Like you said, Miyazaki, this will be such a legacy award, so I wouldn't be shocked at all if Boy and the Heron won. So, good take.
Does anyone have any personal changes? I don't, because I haven't even seen 5 animated films.
Same. I haven't seen 5 animated films.
Yeah.
I would have Suzumi in there as my 3rd pick, definitely, behind Spider-Verse and Boy and the Heron. And then I still have Pneumonia in there, and my number 5 would be Dawn of the Nugget. So
Don't you say it. Don't say it.
no, Dawn of the Nugget is my last one. Mutant Ninja Turtles is way down. Don't worry.
So are we
Ninja
agreeing
Turtles
I
is
was
in
on?
my
just
top
saying don't
4.
put Mario off the list, which I knew you would.
So are we agreeing on Spider-Verse, Boy in the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, and Super Mario Bros?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so-
fine.
Okay.
That
Heading
is
over to our
fine.
next category, we have Best Visual Effects, which is there's one in that I have not seen in Poor Things. I think will get a nomination. I'm not sure how much visual effects it has in that because I've not seen it. But in my number 1, I have Godzilla -1. For you personally, this is by far my number 1 of the year. Definitely how they like combined practical and visual or visual or CGI together. I think they should definitely win in visual effects. I don't know if it will be in that number 1 though. But in number 3, I also have The Creator. Not my favorite film of the year, but they definitely had some great CGI in that film. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy. That also had a good mix of CGI and practical effects and makeup. And Across the Spider-Verse, it is animated, so you might not necessarily instantly think of it being in here, but it does count within the visual effects category. So that is my number 5. What do you have?
Yeah, those are pretty good picks. I got similar ones. I got Across the Spider-Verse, Godzilla -1, The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Poor Things, the exact same. And I think actually this is maybe kind of a hot take. I think The Creator is going to pick this one up. I think they love Greg Fraser and they know he was behind the camera, so maybe not for cinematography, but I could see visual effects. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in here, so maybe there's a sneaky The Creator win. But yeah, Oscar, what do you think?
So for me, I've got The Creator, Godzilla -1, Poor Things. I have Napoleon in there as well, picking up a nomination, and Across the Spider-Verse, which I think is going to win it, honestly. I think I can generally see that being the only award that it wins that night. But yeah, that's what I go for. I think Napoleon might get a sneaky one in there. But yeah, Alex, what do you think?
In terms of what I think gets in, I don't think Godzilla gets in. I just think there's going to be a
It's number 1 right now, I think.
What's up?
I think it is number 1 right now. In this
It's really
particular-
high for VFX
Yeah, it's like the
right
front
now.
runner.
Listen, I hope so because I would pick it to win. Like that's my pick for best VFX. At least my thought process, I haven't looked into it, is that it being a Japanese film, there's going to be a bias against it. But why not? If apparently it's number 1, I'll throw it in there with Across the Spider-Verse. The Creator, I also have in there. Haven't seen it, but I'm putting it in there for everything Will said about Greg Fraser. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Poor Things. So I think I'm pretty much on the same page for everyone else in terms of my predictions.
Did we all have Guardians in?
Nope,
I had Guardians in.
That's 3 of us
Okay.
then.
I think
I'm the only person. Yeah.
I think they always put an MCU film in, so I think it definitely will get in the top 5.
I agree. I think that's one that Guardians could dark horse win. Like
You're right. No,
if
they
they're
could.
Yeah.
if they're giving out MCU like Black Panther, could be a dark horse.
Guardians
much.
is like the only MCU film you can watch and not just be like horrified.
Yeah.
Especially recently.
I can't believe Quantumania got shortlisted and Oppenheimer didn't.
I
Well,
think
isn't
there was something.
Oppenheimer like pretty much practical effects though? Like I don't think there's a lot of visual effects in it.
Yeah, I think they said they weren't even in the
Yeah.
running because they didn't want to be associated or something along the lines of not being visual effects.
Yeah, like I
Fair
don't
enough.
think it's a visual effect heavy movie. Like I think it's a lot of miniatures and
Practical effects still falls under the category. It's just they usually don't.
Yeah.
Oh, it does? I didn't think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Also,
also
like-
effects did. If that's the case, Oppenheimer should win.
yeah.
I also do think there's
Us-
some really good visual effects though, like when there's those like flying
I
rings
know
of
what you're
light.
talking about. Those are practical.
That's practical.
That's practical.
Oh,
They did that
okay.
practically. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen the behind the scenes of that. It's
But
really
I guess
cool.
that's still visual effects, no?
It
yeah,
is.
should.
I,
They usually favor CGI. They just they
Yeah,
don't really
they
care
do.
about
Yeah.
practicals.
Okay. Well, I guess we're all pretty much in agreement on that one. Any changes, Ryan? Would you make any changes?
I would have John Wick 4 in there. That scene when they're in France, that was like completely CGI. You can't even tell in the movie. Like I was completely shocked when I seen the video revealing what they had done in that movie. Like everything was fake in some scenes. The killer
Mhm.
also, there's some scenes in that, especially the scene where he's disposing of his equipment, where he's basically, well, it's not even him, it's a fully CGI guy on a bike. So there's a lot of hidden CGI in that. Other than that, I'd have Godzilla -1 winning, so I wouldn't change a whole lot.
Yeah,
about you?
honestly, I wouldn't change a whole lot either, but I'd pick Across the Spider-Verse. I think that film is just so damn good, and I really hope it picks up an Oscar, and I think this is one that it could pick up, and I hope it does. So, yeah, I want Across the Spider-Verse to win.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as well. I'd have Across the Spider-Verse to win. Maybe out of pity, honestly, 'cause like I said, I think it's the only one that's picking up that night. But yeah, I think Godzilla -1 right up there for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see either Godzilla -1 or Across the Spider-Verse win. I think that I wonder if now it's going to become the thing where like we have one animated movie win Best Animated Feature, and then we have the second best one win Best Visual Effects, like become like a 2 animated award thing. Who knows? But my one change, I'm taking the creator out and I'm putting in Super Mario Brothers. Say what you want about that film.
Oh
The
my
animation is
God.
beautiful. Like I don't see how you argue that the animation isn't good. That's just an insane statement.
I know, but
Criticize
I
the story
don't
all
even
day.
know if I like
It's a
really
well
like
animated
being
movie.
in the category.
It's a well-animated movie, but I don't think it like cuts any edges. Like it's still pretty
Yeah,
like rudimentary, you know.
it
It's not
I
is.
didn't
even good
pick it to win,
animation.
did I? But I'm
No,
picking it
no,
over
I
fucking
know.
creator.
Thank goodness.
It's just funny. It's just funny
Like,
how
what does
how-
Guardians of the Galaxy do that's cutting edge?
nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
It's cutting edge in comparison to something like Quantumania they did a couple months before.
I can put a banner across the screen that's better than Quantumania. What are we talking about?
True.
I also saw. I was doing a bit of research. I saw that people are giving a lot of steam to Society of the Snow. I don't really remember the visual effects
Yeah.
going off the
Well,
charts in
the
that.
plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the snow is fake as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely see it. Honestly, getting in. Yeah, I think that might
Maybe
be
switch
my
that up.
personal change over Napoleon, but I can honestly see Napoleon getting in. Yeah, I thought the VFX were
Cool.
great.
Yeah, definitely. So we're all happy with that 5.
You're
Cool. So moving over to another technical, we have Best Sound Design. And in this category for the Oscars, I have The Zone of Interest, Ferrari, since it's a racing movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and in number 1, I have again Oppenheimer. You have any changes with that?
Nope, Ryan. I've got the exact same. I feel like I'm just saying doubling down on Ryan's picks this episode, but he's got good picks, I guess. I got Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Zone of Interest, Maestro, and Ferrari. I got Oppenheimer winning it. I just think what that film does sonically is pretty unmatched. So I think the Academy will give it credit. So I think Oppenheimer is going to win Oscar.
I have. I'm trying to think. Maybe this is more of a personal change, but I honestly think I could see this happening just because I think it's probably the only nomination it's probably going to get that night. I had the exact same of yours, except I'm going to switch Killers of the Flower Moon out for The Killer because the sound design in that was one of the best of the year by far for me. So I know that's like a personal thing, but I honestly think I could see that happening as well. But yeah, I have Oppenheimer in the zone as Oppenheimer winning it, but I have the Zone of Interest actually really, really close by because the sound design in that was extremely haunting. Yeah, it's close, but yeah, Oppenheimer is definitely going to take that though.
Yeah, I think I pretty much have the same predictions for everyone else, very different from who I picked to win. But yeah, I have Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest, Cross Spider-Verse, Ferrari, and Maestro. I've been a big Maestro defender, but I am not defending it for this award. However, I think it's going to sneak in here. And don't count Barbie out for this one. I could just see it happening.
Nah, it's not.
I can't see
sound.
no
The
logic.
I think there's too many good ones.
See it happening.
There's too many good sound. I don't think I'd see that happening for sound.
But you know what? You're not wrong. Like if Ferrari just the Academy doesn't like it and it gets like no noms, it could easily be a 5th. You know.
Well, let me real quick look who was nominated last year to see if there's any outliers. Ryan, what would you change though? Is there anything you would change?
I might have a hot take for this. I would
Sure.
not have Ferrari in the top 5. I think honestly the sound design is even bad at times, or
Spit.
underwhelming at others.
I actually kind of
There's-
understand where you're coming from there. I'm interested.
I
Damn.
seen a clip of Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz speaking and on Twitter earlier, and the sound mixing is all over the place. It goes from quiet to them shouting, all within the same sentence. I think the racing scenes are extremely underwhelming. Like there's very little emotion in those scenes, and I think it's mainly due to there not really being that great sound design. I mean, it's okay for a car movie. It's kind of like the bare minimum. So I think those kind of movies are just kind of like locks for this category anyway. So I think it's still getting. But I think it could have done much better. Like when I think of like Ford versus Ferrari or something like that, it's a much better sound design. So
I
it's
actually
been
half agree with you.
disappointing.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I half agree with you. I don't agree with you on the racing scenes. I think that's why I have it on my personal list, and it's because of the racing scenes. But I do think the sound design of the non-racing scenes, which obviously is not what people are talking about, but it's a part of the movie, is bad. Like I think it's genuinely weak sound design whenever we're not in a racing scene. Like the sound design is a real thing still in conversation dialogue scenes, and in those scenes it certainly does fall short. So on that half, I do agree with you.
Yeah, and I'll push it one further. I think Ferrari's a poorly mixed movie. I think the sound is one of the weakest elements for a movie that should be so sound driven and racing intense and loud. It's just not. It's just kind of muffly and yelly, not really crisp, not what I wanted. So I completely agree with Ryan. I don't think it should deserve to be nominated, even though there is a tendency to kind of lean towards these type of racing movies. But it's coming out of my list. I got Napoleon, Killers of the Flower Moon, Across the Spider-Verse, The Killer, and Oppenheimer. I think each of those do something extraordinary sonically. It was a really good year for sound design, quite frankly, like Oscar was saying. The Killer kind of went under the radar, didn't get the recognition it deserved. Probably won't get nominated, but I think sonically what that film is able to achieve is pretty exceptional. So I would definitely put it in my category. And then kind of same thing for Napoleon, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Cross the Spider Verse. Each kind of have a different take on what their soundscape is and what it looks like, but all super relevant in their different ways. Oscar, how about you?
I don't think I'd change anything out of mine, honestly. I think I'd stick with what I've gone for, and I think that's actually what. Yeah. Actually, nah. Maybe I'll switch out Maestro because of Flower Moon, actually, but Maestro is definitely getting it.
It's kind of crazy the Killer isn't like a lock for this.
I know it's nuts.
I know
The
it should
Killer's
win it.
not
Like
in
it could
mine,
win
I
it, but it
respect
just
it.
won't.
I have the Killer at a high honorable mention. So I respect
What?
it being in there, and I understand. I just don't personally have it in mind, but I respect it being there.
Anyone
That's
have
probably
Godzilla -1, and I think that's up there.
I have Godzilla. So first off, I think that they should. I don't like how they made it one award. I think they should go back to having two separate awards: one for sound design, one for mix. And
It was
I
kind of
did,
pointless back then because they would just split them between like the racing movies and something
I know,
else.
but
Like,
I did it for mine, and I think so. My nominees are on. Actually, hold on. I'm actually bumping Ferrari out. Ferrari's getting out of mine. All right. So my nominees are Asteroid City, Across the Spider Verse, Godzilla -1, and once again for its intimacy and use of sounds in everyday life, Fallen Leaves, which is not a grand, captivating sound design like we think of in Ferrari, but just understands using the sounds of everyday life in such a poetic way and just really heightens them based on this, like the way the sounds heighten each other and the mix effects heighten certain sounds when the mix is lower and makes little things like picking up a dish sound a lot more impactful due to the sound design around it. I think actually Fallen Leaves came very close to being my winner here, but for sound design, I have a film that none of you mentioned, which absolutely should because it is an incredible sound design, and that is Beau is Afraid. And for mix, I have Runaway Leader Oppenheimer.
The Beau's Afraid love is startling. It is so startling.
I can understand you having criticisms about the script and in terms of like the best picture conversation because of the script and how wild it is. But I don't know how you're not giving it all of you are not giving it the appreciation it deserves in the technical categories.
It's a well-made movie. Perfect. It is a well-made movie, but I think that is like the bare minimum, right? Like any big budget movie or medium budget movie, the bare minimum is making a cohesive movie and a good edit. So like I don't know. It just
is
does.
way more distinct and calculated and precise than a lot of the other good technical movies. Like this is a great, prestigious, like crafted, like with the finest tuned craftsmanship in terms of the technical awards.
Yeah, I just don't think the edit helps the story enough. Like, and if the story isn't good, in my opinion, the edit's not good, right? The edit lends to the story so big
I don't
time.
totally
So
agree with that, but we're not talking about best edit. We're talking about sound design, and I think the sound design of this film is incredible.
Wasn't a standout for me.
but
from what
I
I
also it's kind
remember.
of the same thing. The sound design is like kind of irrelevant for me. Like I didn't go back to it. I wasn't thinking about it. It wasn't like a
It's not stands out to
pivotal
me.
part.
I respect it.
Maybe you just didn't pay attention to it, but if we're paying attention to it and we're paying attention to the
No,
other
I just
film,
think
then it's the best one. Like, I'm sorry you didn't pay attention to it because you didn't like the movie, but if you pay attention, you'll realize it's one of the
I
best.
think
I did like the
discounting me
movie.
as I
Yeah.
think
So
discounting as not
Ryan.
paying attention is a pretty reductive way to look at it. But I don't know. Like yeah, I just you can think it's great sonically and sound design. I just don't think it's that impressive.
I'm just saying I don't think it should suffer technically because people don't like the script.
That's
I
not
think
what I'm
that's why
saying. I think-
technical awards exist because they're even when the script's not great, we can still give them credit for.
We're not
other
saying
areas.
that. We just saying that technically, we don't think it was like Sam was that amazing. We're not like because of the script, but yeah.
I'm telling you, you're wrong.
I mean, obviously it's technically great, but I think when you get into the top
Yeah.
5 of the year, that something has to stand out maybe to get in. We're just saying that. Yeah, no, I respect the take.
Yeah.
It's
What were you
definitely.
saying?
I do respect picking Beau is Afraid. I didn't even consider it, to be honest.
Honestly,
I
Fallen
didn't
Leaves
trust it.
is very close though, and the more I think about it, Fallen Leaves might deserve that one over Beau is Afraid. As much as I love and have defended it. Honestly, I might just switch it on the spot. Not because of like I'm getting people are shitting on Beau is Afraid because Fallen Leaves I saw again yesterday, and I actually do think that really probably is the best sound design. Oppenheimer aside, because like I said, I'm splitting them up in two, and Oppenheimer's obviously getting mixed. So sound design, I'm giving to Fallen Leaves actually. With Beau is Afraid is a very close second.
Okay. We're very split in our personal rankings, but I think we're decided on the predictions for the Oscars. So we can move on to a big category next. We have Best Original Screenplay coming up. This is a big category. A category that's been kind of flung around recently with Barbie moving category to adapt a screenplay. So that it's really there's a couple of movies here that could steal the #1 spot. And for my top 5 predicted, I have Maestro, Mid-December, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, and The Holdovers. So yeah, there's a couple here that are very strong screenplays, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty close actually. I got 4 of the same. I got Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, The Holdovers, Air, and Maestro. I think the Academy loves Affleck and Damon a little bit too much. They're going to throw him a bone, give him a nomination for Air. I think the screenplay is probably the best component about that film, so I think you can slide in here.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Who'd you knock out for Air?
Who
Was
did
it
I knock
Anatomy of a Fall or was it
Nope.
May December?
It was May December. May December is also a really good screenplay, and I wouldn't be surprised if that got in as well. I just think I'm picking Air. And to win it all, I'm going Anatomy of a Fall. I think the Anatomy of a Fall might not win other awards, so I think this is one that the Oscars will definitely give to them. But this could go all over the place, like Past Lives, Holdovers, Maestro. This could be really anyone. So really tough to predict this one, but I would predict Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah, for me, I've gone Maestro, May December, The Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall, and Past Lives. So same as Ryan. The same as well. I have Anatomy of a Fall winning it as well, but I would prefer Past Lives to win it. So yeah, Past
Same.
Lives is my personal choice to win it, but Anatomy of a Fall is my lock for it. Especially considering Golden Globes yesterday, which was a surprise, honestly. But yeah, a welcome one actually.
I have the exact same nominees as Ryan. However, I don't think Anatomy of a Fall has a shot at this. I think everyone's forgetting the foreign film. There's a bias against foreign films, and I don't think there's Parasite level momentum for this film. I understand it won at the Globes, but like the Globes is irrelevant to the Oscars in terms of where it's going to go. So I don't think that Anatomy of a Fall is taking this home. I think The Holdovers is absolutely running away with this award in terms of what will win. I think it's running away with it.
Well, it's
If it
kind of
isn't,
a lock for best pictures, and I think the screenplay is one of the strongest factors of Anatomy of a Fall, so I think it's up there.
I don't
And
think Anatomy of a
look,
Fall is a lock for Best Picture. I think it is a shot. I don't think it's a lock.
I think
I
it
think
I
that
think it's a
it's
lock.
down the bottom,
it's
but
a
I think it will
lock.
be.
I think it's a
Like
lock.
top 10 of
as
the
a
year,
pa-
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a Palme d'Or winner, so it's got a good shot of getting in there.
But the lot
I
of
think
your winners don't make Best Picture. That's very common for them to not.
Last year it did. It is quite
No,
often.
it didn't. Last year was a Titan, wasn't it?
No,
no,
that was
that's
2 years
that
ago.
2021.
was a couple of years
What was
before.
last year?
What's it called?
What one last year?
What was
What's the one on the boat? What's that called again?
Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah,
Oh,
Triangle.
you're right. That was last year. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Honestly, if Anatomy of a Fall isn't winning, I can see Past Lives winning it.
I think that's the
That's what I
second
want.
most likely. That's the second most likely to win.
Really? I think Holdovers has a better chance than Past Lives. I think Past Lives had a lot of momentum, but it's going to die out before the Oscars.
I
don't know.
disagree because I think this is one of the strongest things that they have a chance of, and I think this is the thing they're going to give it to if it's not going to be Anatomy of a Fall.
I'm with Oscar here.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a
Ryan,
good
I hope
switch.
so.
I think Barbie would have been like a guaranteed lock if it was still in this category, but
Yeah,
there's like 4
Yeah, it
I
would
would
have been.
have like possibly winning now, so it is. So
It's a
very
tough
Anatomy
category.
working down the
Screenplay,
unknown.
which is the screenplay's maybe the weakest part of that film, and yes, that probably. No, actually, I don't even know what the weakest part of that film is, but the screenplay is not
The
as strong.
screenplay by far the
Probably.
screenplay.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some scenes with directions not great either, in my opinion.
That's true. But yeah.
True.
So we kind of agree
Personally,
on the 5. So you guys don't think Air? I think it
No,
could
I don't
slide.
think. I think it has a chance. Like
I think it's
anything
close. I think it's really
Probably,
close, but I don't think so. No.
So
I think
May,
if
December,
anything,
Maestro,
Creed-
Holdovers, Past Lives, Anatomy of a Fall.
All right, Ryan, what are your personal picks?
I'm actually only going to make one change. So I have Anatomy of a Fall, May December, Holdovers, Past Lives, and then my number 1, I have Asteroid City. I think that was one of the strongest parts of that movie, even though people would probably only say it has good technicals. I think it's one of the strongest of Wes's career. So I love the screenplay. I would definitely have that as my number 1 original screenplay of the year.
That's an interesting take. I would not have considered it for original screenplay, but it is a unique story, so I like the take. For me, it's a little bit different. I'd love Past Lives to win it. That would be my personal favorite. And then Anatomy of a Fall, Rice Boy Sleeps, May, December, and Poor Things. But I think Poor Things has switched to adapted, right? So I'll chuck in the Holdovers. I think that's a good fifth pick. Yeah, I think Past Lives is definitely my favorite of the bunch, but such a good year for screenplays, so I wouldn't really be unhappy with a lot of these winning it. Like if any of these really picked it up, I wouldn't be too sad. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd switch out Maestro for Rice Boy Sleeps as well. That's the weakest part of the film, the script for me in Maestro. I think it falls apart. It really lacks a focus, honestly, and especially in the kind of second half. I enjoyed like parts of it, but yeah, the script for me was really, really weak. So I don't think it should be nominated, but it will be.
No.
My personal nominees, I have Past Lives, The Holdovers, May, December, Fallen Leaves, and Rice Boy Sleeps. For me, the winner is Past Lives until yesterday. Rice Boy Sleeps is my by far blowout winner after seeing it yesterday. Not even close them all out.
I like that take.
No, Anatomy of
Really
a
good
Fall is
film.
crazy.
It was
I think
close
it's
to
still-
Anatomy of a Fall, May, December for 5. Sorry, what were you saying, Ryan?
You're not giving Asteroid City any love here?
Nah, not for the screenplay. I am not huge on the screenplay for Asteroid City, Maestro, or Beau is Afraid as much as I love all of those films. I wouldn't think that, unlike some people with Oppenheimer who just give praise down the board even when it doesn't deserve best cinematography. I can
It
acknowledge
literally
great
does.
films don't have great screenplays, and the screenplays are good enough, but they're not Oscar-worthy screenplays.
You gotta watch a YouTube
I
channel.
love in best screenplay. I can
The
separate
beauty of Oppenheimer. Go Google the beauty of Oppenheimer. You'll get some beautiful cinematics.
You will.
Google the beauty of Fallen Leaves.
I am gonna watch it. Definitely gonna watch it before Oscars. So yeah, this may change.
That the two of you haven't seen it, so Oscar, you have no excuse. I'm just disappointed in you.
There's just better than that this year.
We can probably move on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On to
Yeah,
best
we're all-
adapted.
Adapted.
Mhm.
Big.
Yeah, this is
More
one
left?
that's always been switched up because of the recent changes.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, my fifth spot was actually quite hard to pick, but I did go with Zone of Interest because I think once, well, it's not really released in a lot of places, so I think once people start to see it, it may get a bit more interest. So that's one that I've put maybe in because it will get in the future, even though it's probably not top 5 right now. Okay, but also put Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie in second, although that might be a number one at this point just because the seems to be a front runner. But I have Oppenheimer winning adapted screenplay.
Yeah, I've got a really similar list. I've got Zone of Interest, Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. I think it's likely that Oppenheimer wins this one, but I would not be surprised if they threw this to Barbie. I feel like they just want Barbie to win something, so this could
They
be
wanna
another one of
put-
those categories. Yeah, so I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go Oppenheimer, but I could see it being Barbie. I disagree with this list though. But Oscar, what are your predictions?
So for me, for what I think they're going to pick, I actually don't think they're going to pick the Zone of Interest. I think it's going to be American Fiction, Barbie, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. With Oppenheimer definitely winning that for me. But yeah, I can see them picking American Fiction over Zone of Interest for adapted screenplay. Alex.
I have. Sorry, 1 second. I just lost my spot. Where the fuck is? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so I think I have pretty much the same thing as everyone else for best adapted in terms of what I think will be Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Barbie.
Cool.
So the big one is, do we want Zone of Interest or American Fiction in our prediction?
I think American Fiction, there's a 0% chance it doesn't get in. I would bump Poor Things from this before I'd bump American Fiction.
No.
I think
really-
Poor Things getting in. I think if any of them were bumping, it's
I generally don't think Zone of Interest is getting in for this.
yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I think
let's do
it's-
American
As
Fiction.
much as I really, really want it to, I don't think it is.
I'll put it this way: I actually would bump Barbie before I bump American Fiction from this one.
But do you think the Oscars would
I'm
bump
talking
Barbie?
strictly predictions. I'm not talking my personal opinions.
No,
I would bump
no,
Barbie
no,
before
no, no.
all of them if we're talking
Barbie's
about
definitely
personal.
getting a nom.
I think
I agree.
Barbie's getting
I
a
think
nom.
American Fiction is as much of a lock as anything on this list.
Okay, so American Fiction instead of Zone of Interest, and Poor Things, Barbie's, Killer of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Cool.
You make any of your own changes in here?
Ryan,
I
what do you
take
think?
Zone of Interest in there, definitely. For me.
I think
I'd take the Killer. I would probably drop whatever Barbie Zone of Interest,
would-
and I'd take the
I
Killer.
would take the Killer as well.
Yeah.
Priscilla is also a decent shout. I really liked that story.
That's
But
the
a lot
one
of-
for me. That's
think-
what
Yeah.
I'm replacing Barbie with. It's Priscilla, which is actually as high as my number 3, with Oppenheimer winning and American Fiction as my 2.
I'm a little lower on the screenplay of Priscilla than others. I think it got a bit repetitive in like the second half of the film for me, and it just kind of the same messages felt like it was repeating over. But yeah, I thought the first half was really strong. But yeah, Priscilla, I wouldn't have it in there honestly.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I Killers of the Flower Moon and Poor Things, both very good screenplays. Neither quite blow me away screenplay wise. I'm talking like Oscar level blow me away. Like both good, solid screenplays, but not like I'm not writing home about these films because of the screenplay. I think the direction of the screenplay is very much what makes these into what they are. These two.
That's true.
Interesting.
I can see that.
Killers of
That's-
the Flower Moon definitely blows me away personally.
I don't know. You
I
got to
kind of
remember
agree.
the script that they were writing as they were shooting, and I don't know. I feel like it's kind of felt to a degree.
Interesting. Fair enough. Fair
Both
enough.
not bad screenplays, just not. Just like I said, they're not wowing me. Like as American Fiction and Oppenheimer, like those two are easily the strong 1 and 2 in this category for me.
Cool. So yeah, that is our locked in 5 for adapted screenplay. Heading over to another interesting category, we have best original score.
Which should be
for that-
considered a major one, like the performances and director and screenplay. This is an underappreciated category.
Because what are the three most important things of cinema, Alex?
Number 1, music. Number 2, music. Number 3, music. And this should be a major Oscar award.
And you still hate Lord of the Rings. Wow.
And I still fucking hate Lord of the Rings because I don't like sleep.
Damn. All right, Ryan, who are your 5
Yeah.
predictions for original score?
My 5 is Michael Giacchino for Society of the Snow, Daniel Pemberton for Across the Spider-Verse, Gerskin, I don't know how you say it, Poor Things for 3, Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon at number 2, and the one that should be a lock, it's an all-timer score already, Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer.
That's a pretty good list. I mostly agree. I think we got 4 the same. I'm going to go Ludwig Göransson, Oppenheimer, Joschkin Frendrix, Poor Things, Daniel Pemberton, Across the Spider-Verse, Robbie Robertson, Killers of the Flower Moon. And my last spot, I haven't seen it, but I've heard there's been a lot of traction around its score and how impactful it is, and that's The Boy and the Heron. I'm going to butcher the name, but Joe Hirasashi?
Interesting.
I think a lot of people were impacted by that as a musical movie, so maybe the score will slide in there. But yeah, Oscar, what do you think?
Interesting. So I've gone for a lot of the same. I've got Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse, and The Holdovers. Oppenheimer, definitely the lock for me. But my 5th, apart from Oppenheimer, by far the most impactful score of the year is The Zone of Interest, without a doubt in my mind. That's second place for me behind Oppenheimer. I can definitely see it getting a nom. Honestly, I think that's a lock for me. I can definitely see them picking it. It's one of the biggest strengths of the film. You're muted,
I'm
Alex.
sure it is, but I don't think Zone of Interest is like considered up there in terms of Oscars right now.
Yeah, mine is
didn't.
mostly the same as everyone else. I have Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer, Daniel Pemberton for Across the Spider-Verse, Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon, Jerskin Fendrix for Poor Things. And in my 5th spot for my prediction, not my personal pick, is Laura Karpman for American Fiction. Something about it, I can just see it getting nominated. You gotta remember, this is also a category that they get wrong a lot. Like, honestly, I don't like my 5 because I feel like it's too accurate. I feel like
last
I
year.
get 1 or 2 of these wrong. Like, I could easily see Poor Things falling out of the picture. I could see Killers of the Flower Moon won't because Robbie Robertson just passed away, but Daniel Pemberton could fall out. I
don't think so. I think those 2 are a lock. Right. Oppenheimer, Across the Spider-Verse, and Killers of the Flower Moon, I think are locked in there.
I can't. Killers of the Flower Moon is not a lock. For me, anyway.
Really?
Robbie Robertson just died as like a legacy. I forget what the word they call it for it. But I think Robbie Robertson's a lock as a
yeah.
I agree. Career
like it's a number 2.
Really, that's
okay. So we got the 3 locked in. What are our next 2 going to be?
I think we all had Poor Things, didn't we? Or at least 3 of us did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Poor Things.
I said I can see it falling out just because I know they like to mess this up, but I'm still putting Poor Things in there.
But I kind of see that. Poor Things didn't have like a pretty I don't know. It is a good score, but it isn't like the takeaway of the film. So I kind of see where you're coming from. Like I can see that kind of sliding out.
I was more just saying because it's good and I haven't heard as much momentum. And because it's good, I feel like they're not going to nominate it because they a lot of times don't like to nominate good films for this. But
that's true. Okay, so what do we think for that 5th spot?
What
did everyone have?
I had The Zone of Interest, but you guys haven't seen it.
I think I would be willing to switch mine to The Zone of Interest. Which
I haven't seen it, so
I've heard the score in the trailer. Like I didn't look up once, but I heard the score and it sounded good. So it sounded good enough that it deserves it, which is probably why we shouldn't pick it.
I'm comfortable.
But they're probably going to play last year. And
if Barbie has the original. Sorry, Ryan. I was just going to say if Barbie has those original songs, I think a Barbie score could be sneaky in here.
Barbie's is sneak in any category, bro. If there's something they can nominate, it's a threat. And same for Oppenheimer, honestly. We're just not talking about it because we agree with Oppenheimer most of it. It actually wasn't a cinematography shot. I was actually just saying genuinely, like Oppenheimer throw in everywhere they can. The difference is Oppenheimer deserves to be there in most of the spots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't think Zone of Interest from my research is like up there, like in the score. Even though I know, like from hearing a lot of people's opinions, that it is one of the best of the year. That's why I went for Society of the Snow, because that's what it kind of appeared out of nowhere. At least from when I first found out about it, like it appeared in the short list for scores.
I'm a big Michael Giacchino fan. I wasn't blown away by that score, but I just, for some reason, can see that getting into. Like, that's just one of those
name
things
value.
I can see it popping up.
Yeah.
I didn't really see any Zone of Interest type when I was doing my research. I definitely saw more of the other one, but we could go either way.
I'd flip
we
to
could do-
Society of the Snow. I could see it getting in. Like, I could just see it happening. They like Giacchino.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'm switching to Giacchino, Society of the Snow.
Sorry, Oscar.
All right, Ryan, what would you actually pick now?
Fine, it's fine. I'll just say I told you so in a few weeks.
Yeah, it'll probably change and we'll be wrong, but yeah, I actually wouldn't change anything just because I haven't. Oh no, this is my list. What did I change? Oh well, yeah, I have, of course, Godzilla -1. That has to be up there. That's one of the best scores of the year. Asteroid City, I think that's also a great score.
Thank you
And
as well.
then Past Lives as well. Although you
Yes.
said that you didn't rate the score of that, but I think it was one of the best of the year as well.
Yeah, those are all good picks, but I don't think those are good enough to displace the 5 that we have. I have Napoleon, Martin Phipps. I thought
Napoleon.
I thought there was enough going on in Napoleon to make it interesting score wise, but again, like I don't know if it replaces those other big hitters.
Yeah, for me, I'd absolutely have. I'd replace Holdovers and Across the Spider-Verse with Past Lives and Godzilla -1. Maybe a hot take getting rid of Spider-Verse in there and still having Poor Things, but yeah, that'd be mine.
Mine, I'm keeping Ludwig Jorgensen, who obviously is the runaway winner. I don't think it's even a competition. Daniel Pemberton is staying for Across the Spider-Verse, as well as Yerskin Fendrix for Poor Things, which, Will, I know what you mentioned about the score not standing out. I think it's not the type of score that you're going to listen to on your own time, but I think it's like very abstract and unique and is super effective for what the film, for that film, I think it's a super effective and creative score. So
I've not even seen the film, and I know the score just from the trailer. So
yeah, it's really
definitely stands out a bit there.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Alex.
Keeping Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon and putting in the second best score of the year, Naoki Sato for Godzilla -1 over whatever. I had American Fiction at 5, and then we switched it to Side of Snow, but I'm putting it definitely over both of them, along with some of the others that I've nominated. And I'm giving an honorable mention to Asteroid City, which, like Poor Things in a different way, is not one I'm really going to listen to on my own, but I think the kind of instrument building one by one with the repetition of it, I think fits what that film is so well. And I think it's super effective for the experience Wes Anderson wants to create. So even though it's not like a Oppenheimer that I'm listening to in the car, I think it's effective for that film.
I agree with that as well. Cool.
Okay. So next one, we're heading over to more the lower categories again. We're going down to costume design. Now, did I?
What was that? Sorry, which one next?
Costume design.
Costume design.
I think
cool.
I forgot to make a list for this, so how well?
I'll start us off. I got these are the predictions I'm making. I think Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Wonka, and Oppenheimer. I think those are the most exuberant and out there costumes of the year. So I think the Oscars would definitely like them. And then I got Barbie picking this one up. I don't think Barbie actually does have the best costumes, not even close. But I just think this is one where, you know, if Margot Robbie's wearing tight clothes, I guess you'll pick her for costume design. I don't know.
I think,
Sorry,
honestly,
outfits
I
are
think
iconic.
for me, this is in my top 5 of the year for best costume design. Like, I'll give it that. But for me, I have Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Maestro. And for me, I have Poor Things picking this up, though. Definitely. Well, I hope so.
That's who I
Anyway.
want to win.
Mm. Alex?
Yeah, there's a lot of threats here. I have Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Barbie, which I do think deserves to be here, Priscilla, and I haven't seen it, but I just could see The Color Purple getting in here. It's a musical. I think there seems to be some love for that in the Oscars, and even though I haven't seen it, I'm just taking a guess here that because it's a musical and the small clips I've seen that it could be the type to get in this category. As for what I would pick, or actually, I'll let Ryan go before I say that. But I personally think that Poor Things likely takes it home. I think Killers of the Flower Moon is also a threat.
Yeah, I'd probably have Killers of the Flower Moon up at the top. Did anybody say Napoleon? That could get in the 5 as well.
I was going to say all the places Will puts Napoleon, and he doesn't put it in this one where I actually think it has a chance.
I've got Napoleon in my what I want to happen, but not in my prediction.
Really? Okay. Could Wonka be up there? Maybe even. Although I didn't
That's what I
really like
think.
it.
I think Timothy Chalamet is like the Oscar sweetheart or like the Academy darling, and they're going to do anything to push this agenda. So I think Wonka will get a production or costume design nomination.
I think Wonka's in the mix 100%. I think Maestro is too. I think Maestro is also in the mix.
Yeah, I left Maestro out, but now I'm kind of like not regretting it because I don't want it to be in there, but I feel like Maestro could definitely be in there.
I'm not going to be mad. There's some interesting. They're not flashy like Poor Things, but like it's in a subtler way. I think they're solid for like a number 5 one in this category.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we locking in? Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, yeah.
I didn't have Oppenheimer. I think am I the only one who had Priscilla?
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
I mean, I think it's crazy if Priscilla doesn't, but since this is predictions, like I understand it's reality.
I'd have it up there.
I could put Priscilla in there. I could see them doing it.
I just feel like you got to give. They like Sophia Coppola enough where you got to give her something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that can be our 5th then. Did the rest of you have? Sorry, did we have Oppenheimer though? Oscar and Ryan, did you guys have Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
I didn't have Oppenheimer, but like I'll put it in there. And honestly, this is like a Barbie type one where like I really wouldn't put Oppenheimer here, but like I could see it getting in.
Yeah,
I think Napoleon should be in here, maybe.
I wouldn't be mad. I think Napoleon's more deserving here than Oppenheimer.
But do you think the Academy is going to snub Oppenheimer for this?
No, I don't. I think
so then who are we taking out?
We don't need to take out anyone. We got 5.
Do we?
We got Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Priscilla, and Oppenheimer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we agreed on Priscilla. That's fine though. I stand by it.
Anyone have any changes?
No, none that stand out.
We covered all mine. Oh, actually Saltburn. I've got Saltburn costume design.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think that could kind of sneak in there. That's more like a me pick. Like, I don't think it was like super influential in terms of what they're doing with their costumes, but I like that old money aesthetic they pull off really well. So I would maybe nominate for Saltburn, or I would cast my vote for Saltburn, but probably not going to get in there.
I think Saltburn's deserving. I personally would throw Asteroid City in there. I would bump Oppenheimer for Asteroid City, but I think the big 3 are. I would give it to Killers of the Flower Moon, with Poor Things being a very close second, where I wouldn't be mad at all if it won, and Priscilla at a very solid 3. And then Barbie and Asteroid City, I think, deserving of the 4 and 5.
That's fair.
Okay, it's quite a hard one to predict, but heading over to best hair and makeup, my 5
even harder to predict
the Oscars.
Shouldn't be, but yes.
At number 5, I have a film called Golda that I've just seen is apparently predicted to do very well at the Oscars, so I've got it in my number 5. I've got Society of the Snow, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Maestro, who I all think have great makeup that are very on show throughout the whole film. So I think they're all pretty guaranteed to get in. What about yours?
Yeah, I think that's a good list. I got Poor Things, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Priscilla. I think that's where Priscilla could definitely get a nomination with hair and makeup. And then also I did a lot of research with Ryan. Golda apparently is coming. Golda's coming. I have no idea what it is. No idea how good the hairstyling and makeup is, but apparently it's kind of a lock. So I added it into mine.
Interesting. So I have Maestro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, with Poor Things as locked. But I have Ferrari as my fifth.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just me, from what I've been seeing.
Maybe.
But
I don't know.
I
I think Society of the Snow will definitely get in like those scenes with their makeup when they're like very dehydrated and starving. Or that's some great makeup.
You really think though? Ooh. I think if it's gonna get nominations elsewhere, I think Society of the Snow is not gonna pick up this one. But if it gets like no other awards, then it could pick up a nomination here. You know what I mean? So it's
I think it's going other places. I don't think it's going here.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Society of a Snow place. But Alex, what were yours? Yeah,
I have Poor Things, Maestro, Barbie. Those three I feel like are locks. Now I had The Color Purple here. I'm think after looking up what Ryan and Will just said, I'll put Golda there instead. My number 5. If Priscilla is not nominated for this award, once again, I'm throwing a fucking brick through my TV. I'm flying to Hollywood and I'm gonna fucking stab somebody. It's literally like by far the best hair makeup of the year, and I think it's usually it won't win, but
yeah. But I think the Academy is gonna pick like Maestro over Priscilla. You know what I mean?
Maestro's my prediction to win. I think that it's
Alex. I have some news for you. Priscilla isn't even shortlisted, so
that's why I just said I am ready to fly to LA.
Is Barbie?
Oh, that's brutal.
So
I don't think Barbie's here either.
No, Barbie's here.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, I'll have a look quickly.
Barbie wasn't on my list either.
Beau is Afraid, Ferrari, Golda, Killers of the Flower Moon, Last Voyage of the Demeter, Maestro, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. Barbie is not there.
Wow. And no Priscilla. That's ill.
Yeah.
So I guess they do care more about the prosthetics, about like aging and stuff like that, rather than hair, which is in the name. But...
I think Maestro is easily the winner here.
Patrick Dempsey's hair in Ferrari was great.
I think Poor Things picks it up.
Yeah,
I think Maestro's actually the front runner right now.
I don't think it's even close. I think this is Maestro's award. 100%.
Wow. Okay, so what 5 are we going with? Poor Things, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Golda, and what?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I didn't have Killers of the Flower Moon. I think Barbie's definitely getting in here, and I refuse to believe that the
Barbie's not on the short list.
It physically can't.
No, you can. It's just like what they recommend. You still can vote outside.
No, you can't pick. You have to pick.
It's not shortlisted. It can only be from what's.
So Priscilla can't get nominated, is what you're telling me.
No.
Yeah, it can't.
No,
yeah.
It can't.
Literally the most insane shit I've ever seen. Like I was going to say I refuse to believe the Academy is dumb enough to not nominate it, but it turns out they are. So I will not be watching this year. No, that's a major fail. That should be the winner. But all right, so since that's out of here, honestly, I think The Color Purple. I could really see it.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
It's not here either.
It's not there either, so it can't be.
I haven't seen it. That was a total wild guess.
That's funny.
What were your Society of the Snow is up there?
Okay, yeah. That can be. I'm cool with that. Society of the Snow.
Yeah,
Golda, Oppenheimer.
They fumbled the bag on this so heavy. It's like I'll just pick anything because it's like literally they just don't know what they're talking about here.
They've nominated Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is like
if Dracula on a boat gets in here,
Dracula on a boat has been nominated. Oh dear.
All right. Well, we probably move on.
Yeah. Real quick, does anyone have any changes?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
I like Beau's Afraid is like.
Yeah, maybe Beau's Afraid.
I think there's a crazy one that I can't believe some of you hadn't said. I really can't believe Ryan hasn't picked it, and that is that I am personally putting Asteroid City on mine. Obviously, I think Priscilla should win, but aside from that, like Asteroid City, I think absolutely deserves to be in this conversation.
Asteroid City's actually in mine as well. I got Poor Things, Priscilla, Asteroid City, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Barbie.
I have Barbie on mine as well.
Wait, why do you have Asteroid City? Just for like the hair?
The hair, they do such a good job with
Hair
the
and
hair.
makeup.
They're all
Yeah, I
insane.
don't really. Yeah, I don't know. I don't tend to think about the hair either. I usually just go for like the prosthetics and stuff.
See, I actually pay more attention to the hair, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Like Scarlett Johansson, she always has that like full face of makeup and that hairdo, and then Jason Schwartzman has the slick. I think it
And
does
the
a really good
kids'
job.
hair,
Yeah.
all the kids' hairs are like crazy. They all have a very different haircut. It's not like the normal thing where they all kind of have the same haircut. Like it's very distinct.
Yeah, good shout.
I
Okay.
actually went for
Oh,
Talk to Me in my 5th spot for my personal ranking as well. I think the
Oh yeah.
makeup is very good in that.
Yeah, it was. Right.
Yeah. Moving on to production design. For our third last category. For this one, I went for Bose. Oh, this is my personal. Sorry. Asteroid City, number 5. I think the 5th spot isn't a lock, so I did. It's kind of open for what could get in that, and I think Asteroid City is definitely the best of the year or up there. So I think it could slip into that 5th spot. And then I have Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and then Barbie as my number 1.
Mine is a little bit different. I've got Barbie, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and The Holdovers. I think that 70s aesthetic is too impossible to deny. I think it could sneak in there, The Holdovers. And picking it up, I actually have Poor Things. I think Poor Things could pick this up. It's kind of a surreal movie out there, super over-the-top production design that I think will stand out. Oscar, how about you?
Good picks. For me, I've got Maestro, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I've got Poor Things winning as well. I think Maestro could slip in there. There's definitely some set pieces in there that I liked, definitely in the first half stronger than the second. But yeah, I can definitely see the Academy just giving this, giving them a nomination for this. But yeah, definitely Poor Things by clear number 1 for me, honestly. Yeah, the production, the set designs were insane. Alex.
I have Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Saltburn, and the movie that's getting this award. It's not Poor Things. Barbie's getting this award.
Yeah, I think it's definitely part
It's
of Barbie.
close, but I generally think it's going to be Poor Things taking it up.
I've got some faith in the Academy. I think Poor Things going to beat out Barbie, but Alex, I think you're right. In the back of my head, I think you're right.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not really. Would I give it to Poor Things over Barbie? Yes, but like, is Barbie? Like
Barbie
it's
was
a production
good.
design. Like it's a dessert.
Barbie's in my top 5.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool.
So I wouldn't be mad if Barbie won here.
Yeah.
Barbie's not even close to my top 5, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Barbie.
Really?
My real
I
one
would-
is pretty
yeah,
different than this one.
I definitely have it in there for sure. But yeah, I definitely Poor Things for me winning that.
Okay, Ryan, what would you change then?
Yeah. I wouldn't actually add anything. The only thing I would change the order, and I'd have Asteroid City winning. I wouldn't add anything compared to my predictions, honestly.
For me, I would add Asteroid City, Saltburn, and Napoleon. I think those are all 3 too impossible to deny. I'd probably remove Barbie, Oppenheimer, and The Holdovers. Yeah, I don't know. Those are kind of like the flamboyant production designs, the set designs, the ones that I like. But I think that's what kind of the award's all about. So the fact that Saltburn isn't really getting mentioned when Saltburn's literally a character in the film, kind of a disgrace. And then with Asteroid City, like that film is beautiful. The miniatures, the sets, like the forced perspective on some of the buildings they made, like they built a whole damn town. So I think Asteroid City should win it, but I don't think it's going to get a nom, which is brutal.
Yeah, I've only got one change. I'm putting in Asteroid City instead of Maestro in there for me. But yeah, I'm sticking with the others with what I've got. Definitely deserving of a nomination for that.
I'm only changing one thing. I'm swapping Oppenheimer for Asteroid City, and I'm giving the award to Asteroid City. Which
Wait,
should
why is
be
Oppenheimer getting kicked out?
just because of the competition.
Okay, fair enough.
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay, so
I
was there-
guess
was
like
there-
Poor Things is a lot of CGI, but like artistically, I think the production design of Poor Things is better. So I'm going to keep that in there over Oppenheimer.
So what was our
Interesting.
5 that we're going for?
We got 4 for sure, right? Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Barbie.
Yeah.
And then my 5th
Just a
was the
number
whole
5.
I think Saltburn. I really think Saltburn can get in here.
Do you think the Academy's going to pick? I would love that. I just don't think the Academy nominates him.
I think for this one, I think there's going to be enough love for the film to get it in a category like this. Like, I think they like Emerald Fennell. She's been nominated before.
I can swing my 5th vote to Saltburn.
Yeah, I'll go Saltburn as well then.
Yeah, I'm okay with Saltburn.
Cool.
Okay. So that's us done with a lot of the lower categories. And we have 2 left, and this is a big one. So we are going on to Best Director.
Huge category.
This is probably the most competitive category in the whole of the Oscars.
Just imagine if Dune had come out this year. This would be utterly insane. Last year, even.
Yeah, insane.
This would be a very
probably have another.
if Dune was in play.
Yeah, because he's winning.
He'd been snubbed twice. That would have been
he was robbed in 2021.
He was.
So,
but it was competitive. I will say it was very competitive. I'm not saying it wasn't robbed, but
should have won Best Picture and Best Director.
I wouldn't have given it I wouldn't have given it either, but I think he definitely at least deserved the nomination.
Yeah. Okay. So my 5 are Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest, Greta Gerwig for Barbie, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer to win it.
Yeah. Mine are Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos, Martin Scorsese, Greta Gerwig, and Bradley Cooper. And I think Nolan picks it up. I think it's obvious that Nolan picks it up.
I hope Cooper gets snubbed in this, honestly. I think it'll be funny.
You hope who gets snubbed?
Bradley Cooper.
I hope he does too, but they won't.
I think
he's very.
No, I think he has fell. Yeah, I think he's fallen down in the pecking order recently.
I think he has as well.
Well, wait, Oscar, who do you have?
Okay, so for me, I've got the exact same as Ryan. I've got Greta Gerwig, Jonathan Glazer, Yorgos Lanthimos, Martin Scorsese, and Christopher Nolan, and I've got Nolan winning it.
Wait, sorry, did you have Gerwig in there or nah?
Yeah, I did.
In that case, I have the exact same as Oscar. I do think Bradley Cooper falls out because, like I've mentioned before, we see a foreign director in Best Director every year. We had Triangle of Sadness last year. We had Hamaguchi for Drive My Car the year before. We had, Bong Joon-ho for Parasite in 19. So this is a category we normally see a foreign director, which I love to see, and I'm all for that. So I think Glazer does get in over Cooper, especially since Cooper's going to get a lot of attention in the actors race as well. I think that's going to be the deciding factor for a lot of voters. However, I do think that Cooper does deserve a nomination here.
Hey, they got Lanthimos. Lanthimos is Greek.
Infinitely better than Cooper's.
Yes, but it's an American movie from Lanthimos.
Yeah, he means from the international picture, not the international territory.
Yeah, I know.
Technically, Nolan's international then, too. Nolan's from the UK.
He's 50-50.
Ryan, what are you changing? Because I know you're changing something.
I definitely am. I'm changing most of it, actually. I am going for number 5. I've Ari Aster for Beau's Afraid, Celine Song for Past Lives, Wes Anderson for Asteroid City, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, and then I'm still having Christopher Nolan win it personally for Oppenheimer.
Interesting. Oh, that's close for me.
Mine's a little bit different. I got 5 Yorgos Lanthimos, 4 Justine Triet, 3 Celine Song, 2 Martin Scorsese, and number 1 Christopher Nolan.
Oh, why can't you guys see your Zone of Interest already? Can't see the light bit. So annoying. Oh, this is so close. But I'm gonna go Justine Triet, number 5. It hates me. Celine Song is right there. I'm tied between the two. I'm so close. It's so close. Then I'm going Martin Scorsese, number 4. Then I'm going Yorgos Lanthimos, number 3. Nolan, number 2. And absolutely Jonathan Glazer, number 1, Best Direction of the year. He won't win it though, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely deserves it though, honestly.
Bro will pick anybody but Nolan. Nolan's biggest hater.
No. If Zone of Interest had not happened, that's the number 1. But he's my favorite Nolan. But Glazer's direction was it was unbelievable. But yeah, a lot. Celine Song I'd have right there, just right in really, really borderline between her and Justine Triet, but I'm going to edge it to Justine Triet, honestly. But yeah, Alex.
I'm not doing an order because it's hard enough to make this list as it is. So therefore, I'm just going completely random order. Starting off, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, obviously. Then the GOAT, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon. Ari Aster for Beau is Afraid. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Wes Anderson for Asteroid City. And Aki Kaurismäki for Fallen Leaves. Yes, that's 6. Yes, I'm cheating. I don't care. I'm not cutting one of these 6. They all
eliminate one of them.
Here. I'm not making it.
You have to.
I don't give a fuck. Kick me off the podcast then. I'm not. And I'm also giving honorable mentions. I did say Bradley Cooper deserves to be there, but he actually did fall off to an honorable mention on mine as well. Even though I would not at all be upset to see him be there. And also another honorable mention to Emerald Fennell, who I think is another very deserving one for her direction here. Screenplay, can't say I agree, but for direction, I am giving her an honorable mention and think she deserves to be there. But my 6, because I'm not picking, are Nolan, Scorsese, Ari Aster, Yorgos Lanthimos, Wes Anderson, and Aki Kaurismäki. And to win is the one, the only Ari Aster for Beau is Afraid.
That's ill.
Oh,
that's actually
that's
ill.
Best direction of the year. That is.
It's
crazy.
Best direction of the year.
As I kept thinking about it, like it is, I think, easily the best direction of the year. He puts his whole heart and soul into the visual storytelling of that film. And yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to say Nolan's a better direction, I'm not going to argue with you. Like Nolan did it, directed the fuck out of Oppenheimer. But yeah, I'm giving, I think just Ari Aster used more techniques to tell his story and the versatility of the ways he's telling his story and the precise craftsmanship. I think he takes the chip. So that's the deciding factor. And that's who I'm going with. I know it's a hot take. I know he won't get nominated, so I'll be rooting for Nolan to win this. But
need you guys to see Zone of Interest so bad. It's so painful, man. Watching
I
this.
probably will have that on here once, so then maybe I'll have 7 nominees then. It's as good as I'm expecting.
Oh dear.
So none of those
That's a
6
great
are
list.
That was a good list. So does that wrap it up? Is that all of our Oscar
Wrap it up,
nominations?
bro. We got the big awards still.
No, we have we have a big one.
How could I forget? We forgot Best Picture.
Yeah. So the moment you've all been waiting for, we've got our Best Picture. We're gonna go for 10 instead of 5 on this, like they do in the Oscars. And I don't think there'll be much variation on this because it's kind of a
we probably
set
have mostly the same.
one.
Really?
Yeah.
There's only 1 or 2 films I could see us disagreeing on.
Oh, like you mean for our prediction?
For predictions.
Yeah, predictions.
For Best Picture.
Gotcha.
Because I know I'm probably the only one on their personal list who has Mario Brothers winning. So
yeah, that's what
Oh my god.
way
Okay.
better than Oppenheimer.
Right. So for my predicted Best Picture nominees, I have The Zone of Interest, Maestro, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Past Lives, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, Poor Things, and then Oppenheimer winning it.
I have the exact same nominations.
I too
Oppenheimer
have.
winning it.
I too have the exact same nominations as well. I have Oppenheimer winning it as well.
I gotta disagree with you
What have you
on
changed?
absolutely nothing.
Oh wow, perfect.
That's crazy.
I think
Okay, so that was
that's
easy.
usually where the Academy is going to go.
I think it's just so dead and set at this point. What it's going to be, it's insane.
I guess
Yeah.
what would you just change if it was yours?
Oh,
Oh. Go
Um,
ahead, Ryan. You can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm eliminating quite a few here. I would have May December instead of, I'll say Zone of Interest because I haven't seen that yet. Godzilla instead of Maestro. Beau is Afraid instead of American Fiction, which I also haven't seen. John Wick 4 over Anatomy of a Fall. And then Rice Boy Sleeps over Barbie. And then Asteroid City over Poor Things, which I also haven't seen.
That was ill. I heard some ill takes in there. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'd change a few things. To be fair, they got like half of them right in my opinion, 50%.
Yeah.
But I'd go Poor Things, Holdovers, Asteroid City, The Killer, Anatomy of a Fall, Rice Boy Sleeps, Killers of the Flower Moon, Across the Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer, and Past Lives. Yeah, so they got about 50% of the films I wanted in here, which I guess is good representation, but I don't know. I'd love to see Past Lives, Oppenheimer, or Across the Spider-Verse win. Those are kind of my favorites.
It's just
Right,
for
Oscar.
movies, not episodes. With
Okay, all right, relax,
cartoon episodes.
relax.
So for me, they got 50% right, but I haven't seen American Fiction or The Holdovers, so I'm getting rid of those. I'm also getting rid of Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Barbie, and instead I'm putting in The Boy and the Heron, May December, John Wick Chapter 4, Across the Spider-Verse, and Godzilla -1.
Kind of ill. Some
And
illness.
Zone of Interest winning it all without a doubt, deserving Best Picture.
No one can argue with you on that one. Last year, the Oscars absolutely butchered this category, and
They did.
They got it so insanely wrong. And I think
They
they're getting
nominated
even more
way
wrong this
more.
year because I only have 4 films that we picked staying on my list. Those 4 that I have staying are Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Poor Things. The ones I'm adding are Asteroid City, Beau is Afraid, Rice Boy Sleeps, Monster, and actually I want to make a quick change. I should have changed this on my best original screenplay. I'm dropping May December and I'm putting Monster in. Monster's also on my best picture. And Rice Boy Sleeps, Fallen Leaves, and Godzilla -1 with honorable mentions to Evil Does Not Exist and Priscilla. And I do have Oppenheimer winning still, which I do think they'll hopefully get right.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the lock of all locks.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
True.
I would
True.
like to put Across the Spider-Verse on there. It was a very close one. I'll give that an honorable mention as well. Even though I enjoyed it more than some of them on the list, I think the script is still very much a kid's movie script, and I think that's what holds it back from being a Best Picture film for me.
Interesting. Yeah, it's
You got
never getting
any-
a Best Picture nomination.
Any predictions for upsets that could happen against Oppenheimer? I would honestly put a bet on maybe that Barbie would win screenplay, and then Ryan Gosling maybe gets an actor, and then that's all you need to then go on and win Best Picture. I think they could win Best Picture. I think there's definitely a route where they
That's
go on
crazy.
and steal it.
I can't see it winning Best Picture. We've talked about how much they're going to overrate it a lot, but I don't see it winning Best Picture.
This is like
Barbie.
worst odds, like out there prediction.
Barbie's
I
not
would
winning
think
Best Picture.
I think there are 2 threats. American Fiction and The Holdovers are the 2 small movie,
American
coded
Fiction.
Green Book type of threats to
I
pull
don't
off
think
an
I'm-
upset. Where I think
American
think
Fiction's
American
weird
Fiction-
because
across the
American
board.
Fiction's a bit like Zone of Interest, where it's in there with a lot of hype, but like nobody's really seen it.
I think it's such the movie that, regardless of how the public feels about it, I think the award voters are really going to like this movie. I think the public will probably, a lot of people like it. I like the movie a lot. I thought it was a great script. I liked a lot of what it had to say. It was an entertaining movie, even though it doesn't make my top 10. Because I think it's a film where I think the ideas are better than the execution. It's more about, what the movie's saying than the actual experience of the film. But I think the Oscars are going to love it. And I think in the moment, I think it's the relevance to the culture right now. I could see them voting that. I could see it picking up a lot of votes. Absolutely.
I'm just mostly scared that they decide to just have like a Barbenheimer night and then just split like everything between them.
Yeah, I think that's a genuine possibility. Like if we
very
get
much.
like Best Actor and Best Actress, Killian and Margot, and then like Gosling picks up supporting and Downey picks up, if Gosling picks up supporting ahead of Downey, like then we have a serious Barbie Oppenheimer split, which is what Ryan's talking about, and I think there's an outside chance that happens, which is
I
kind of
think
scary.
it's very possible that could happen.
Yeah.
Very, very possible.
You got me stressing now. Oh god.
I mean, right now it's just Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Holdovers definitely is like the top 3. So
Like
Yeah.
Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone might be like the big, not one of those 2 award of the night.
I think it's gonna be a Poor Things and Oppenheimer night.
I don't think Poor Things is going to do as good as you think it will. I think it
I-
is still divisive enough that it'll split votes.
Is it that divisive though?
I
think it is.
disagree.
I think it's not
I
going to
don't
be a
think
film
it's-
for everyone.
I think it's going to be a Poor Things and Oppenheimer night.
Yeah, I could see that too. I could see Poor Things in Oppenheimer. I don't know.
Listen, I would like to be Oppenheimer and Poor Things over Oppenheimer and Barbie. I just don't think that's what it's going to be.
Oh, it's going to be a stressful night, that.
You got to remember,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of older Academy voters who are not going to be as warm to Poor Things.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I maybe think the Zone of Interest could sneak in there somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't
think-
seen Zone of Interest, so I just can't comment
Yeah, of
there.
course. It's still very early on. Last year, All Quiet on the Western Front would have been in
Oh,
none of the
yeah, that's
conversations.
stuck
Nobody
in.
would have been thinking about that. And then suddenly, 3 weeks before that, at the BAFTAs, they start picking it for everything. And then suddenly, it's a big nominee at the Oscars. So anything can change. But in those like few weeks coming up, like Coda wasn't in anybody's radar either.
Yeah,
Like a
Coda-
week
I
before,
think
it
Zone
keeps
of
getting
Interest is
it keeps
gonna
getting
go big at the
screenplay
BAFTAs.
buzz, and then
And that's why
Yeah.
I think the films this year that could pick up that late buzz are The Holdovers and American Fiction, both of which are getting late overseas releases, and both of which I think are films that they're going to fall in love with in the moment. And I think they're the type of films where, like, some of these films you got to rewatch them a couple times to really appreciate, and they're films that very much their effect is at its highest after a first watch, at least the way I view those two films. And I just think they have a lot of qualities that the Academy likes in them. So those are the two films that I could see picking up a lot of momentum late in the run and end up making a serious threat for Oppenheimer as like the small movie that pulls off the upset. Those are the two that
I can see The Holdovers, kind of. I can't see American Fiction.
I think once you see American Fiction, you'll see, like, it's very much the type of movie the Academy is going to love. And it's very much the type of movie where, like, in the heat of the moment, it's going to be like the relevance with the culture and all of that. It's a movie that they're going to want to push.
Oh,
Like,
dear.
like
honestly,
the
I think
Holdovers
both of them
has
are
like
movies.
Giamatti and Randolph at the front as well. We were talking
Yeah.
about earlier, but if you like everybody starts to love the whole cast, it kind of pushes it even further that it can go. And I think those are two people that everybody loves now, so it
Yes,
definitely could
but
push it up there.
let's also not act like Jeffrey Wright isn't super popular. And what's his name? Sterling K. Brown is another one who's picking up a lot of momentum. A lot of people have really liked his performance as well. So I think
But I
that
don't
it's
think
a threat in performances as well.
I don't think Wright's going to be able to pick up best lead though. Like that's
I
such
don't
a
think
heavy
he will.
category.
No, you're
And
right.
I think
Giamatti's got more momentum.
for American Fiction to win Best Picture, it's going to have to pick up something else. I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know if it'll
If
be
it were
able
to
to.
upset best, sorry, not to interrupt you, but if it were to pick up Best Picture, it would also pull off the upset in Best Adapted Screenplay as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need the screenplay.
That could be true. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting take. I think those two movies, like Alex is saying, they're kind of coming on late and they're kind of easy to digest, right? Anyone's going to love them and the Academy's going to like them. So I think there's definitely some validity to what Alex is saying, and we could definitely see some kind of late runs like Coda and years past. So these predictions could be looking a lot worse in a couple weeks, but yeah, we've decided to get ahead of it and do our predictions now. So this is kind of what we think right now and in the moment.
And but also in terms of like I've heard people say that they should do the Oscar voting 3 years after to like really have time to rewatch and see how these films age. I've heard that like theory on what they should do. And they do it typically because of movies that get like they have a hot run. And I think both The Holdovers and American Fiction are the type of films that are like a hot run type of movies where 3 years down the road, I don't think they would be in contention the same way, but I think in the heat of the moment, they're going to do very well. Whereas
I think
Oppenheimer,
Holdovers, that is the film that kind of sticks around past this year.
Oppenheimer, you're
Everything
saying?
No, Holdovers. I think that'll be something that people will always kind of talk
Maybe
about
because of the
every year.
holiday season, but I don't think it's going to stick
Yeah.
around in terms of awards contention for years. I don't think it would. I think in terms of like a lovable film you watch every holidays, yes. But in terms of like being an award threat, not nominee, I don't think it would be after giving it some time. But I think when the emotions are fresh coming off of the first watch, I think it's more of a threat that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of wraps up all of our predictions and thoughts regarding the Oscars. Did you guys have anything else in particular you want to get off your chest? Nope.
I'm all
So-
good. I have a lot of issues with the way I think it's going to go, and I think I've expressed all of
Yeah.
my anger. So
Yeah, like at the end of the day, right? It's just an award show. A couple people get in a room and pick some films relatively arbitrarily. So again, like this isn't a fine science, and there's going to be mistakes. People are going to be upset. So it's inevitable that some of these movies aren't going to get the love they deserve. But we just
now I
hope
have
that you.
something else I need to say.
Yeah. What do you
I
got?
don't agree with you. I don't think it's just an award show, and I mentioned this in our last episode. This is what keeps independent films getting made. These are films typically that lose money, and the only way to keep them getting made is for them to win awards, and it's a way to give these films value when they don't make a dollar value necessarily for the studio. So I do think that the films that get nominated and go on to win are very important for the future of what gets made. So I actually
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't undermining the validity or, the power imprint of these movies. I'm just saying that the people picking these generally aren't qualified. So don't get too disgruntled if, your favorite actor doesn't get a nomination, is what I'm saying for the casual viewers out there who haven't been, berated by the Oscars fucking brain dead picks in the past. But yeah, let us know what you think about your picks. I want to hear your hottest take in the comments. Who's going to get upset? Who's winning? Who's winning best director? Who's winning best screenplay? I want to hear everything in the comments. But yeah, 2023 is a great year. We're excited to check out the Oscars, and I hope you are too. But that's all for us, and take care.